A ze mną, podobnie jak przed rokiem, Maksym Drabik. Max, historia zatacza piękne koło. Dokładnie rok temu staliśmy tutaj, w tym samym miejscu, mniej więcej o tej samej porze, a ja zastanawiam się, czy dzisiaj ten stres jest większy, czy jednak był większy przed rokiem, kiedy walczyłeś o swój pierwszy złoty krążek?
Cóż, zawsze jest jakiś stresik i zawsze ten stres panuje podczas zawodów, to znaczy, że nam zależy na zawodach i zawody są dość atrakcyjne. No nic, bawmy się tutaj dzisiaj dobrze, ja mam już finalną część sezonu, więc chciałbym przede wszystkim skończyć zdrowo i cało, a co dzisiejsze zawody, mecz, poszczególne biegi nam pokażą, no to przekonamy się gdzieś tam już w trakcie zawodów i zobaczymy, jak to wszystko się zacznie.
Czyli nastawienie bojowe, ale jednak cieszysz się dzisiaj tym żużlem, nie ma takiej dużej presji?
Nie, nigdy nie staram się na siłę szukać presji.
A very good evening. Welcome to Pardubice in the Czech Republic. It is the third and decisive round of the FIM World Under-21 Championship. Currently a Polish 1-2 with Maksym Drabik going for a second successive title. Bartosz Smektala trying to chase him down, and Great Britain's Robert Lambert looking to maintain a rostrum finish overall as well. I'm Dave Rowe alongside me the 93 world champion Sam Malenko, talking you through the action on this massive circuit which created real entertainment last season. And Sam, the big guns are out tonight, and can Drabik make it 2 titles on the spin?
Well, I think he's focused enough too, and his equipment's quite tidy, and he's experienced now with 1 world championship underneath his belt. It's on the wall already, and the pits are a little bit tense. We've walked through it earlier on. This 391-meter racetrack will give these guys the perfect platform to go out there and finish the deal. And I can't see anybody really taking it from Maksym, really.
Drabik holds a 6-point lead in the series. He's only dropped 1 point in the 2 rounds so far at Daugavpils and then at Leszno. Robert Lambert beat him in 1 race in Daugavpils. He then went through the card at Leszno in a rather controversial finale, which we'll come back to later in the evening. But the net result is that Drabik is 6 in front of Smektala, and Lambert there is 5 further behind. So 41 for Drabik, 35 for Smektala, 30 for Lambert, and 25 for Dominic Kubera, who's realistically the only challenger as far as Lambert's concerned for the top 3. Dan Bewley 5th in the standings, not here of course due to serious injury. The rest are some way back, including Fredrik Jakobsen. They're currently 6th in the standings. But yeah, Sam, for Drabik, to only drop 1 point across 2 meetings, given the quality and given the pressure these guys are under, he could break some serious records in terms of overall points scored in the series in 3 rounds.
Yeah, we'll know that at the end of this evening, how much further he can actually extend his lead if he carries on the way he's been performing so far. He's a class act, there's no doubt about it, and he's got a big future in this world of Speedway, that's no doubt.
Certainly has. A couple of changes to the lineup, as you expect as the season goes on, but one face that we're pleased to see back, there is the leader Maksym Drabik, by the way, but one face we are pleased to see back is the Russian youngster Gleb Chuganov, who won his qualifier in Vetlanda earlier in the season, but unfortunately missed the first 2 rounds due to a broken leg, and we really felt he could have been a challenger for this series, so it's good to have him back for the 3rd round and see what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's probably the kind of a racetrack that you could probably get out there and you know, not really have any big threats as far as the physical side of things. You know, it's such a wide racetrack, and you'll see when we get on the start line how much room there are between riders.
This is a big festival of speedway across the weekend at Pardubice. It culminates in the Golden Helmet on Sunday, a meeting that you've raced in and not quite managed to win, but did finish on the podium once. And it really does build up over the weekend. And this has become a really established way to start the weekend. Yeah,
it's one of those events you get here, and there's not real big pressure on it. You put the pressure on yourself when you're riding in the Golden Helmet race. It's such a hard one to win. It's hard to dominate, but yeah, then again, when you went into the clubhouse and seen all the photographs up there, ran into Ole Olsen, and he's won it 7 times. He said he gave 2 of them away. Can you believe that?
Absolutely. 6 rider races, of course, in those meetings.
Yeah, that's
conventional speedway for 4 men in a race tonight, and you can see the crowd have turned out here at this stadium. The weather has been good throughout the day, around about 20-21 degrees, and really cloudless skies. It's now beginning to get a bit chilly in the evening, but certainly dry conditions, and the reports were that practice went well and everyone's happy, so good to go for what should be a good meeting.
Yeah, the referee stepped in here, Susan.
Christina Turnbull,
yeah,
referee.
Christina, that's right, sorry.
As she was here last year.
Yeah, and she stepped in and said that the training did go real well for all these guys, and you can see from all the jackets on the people in the stands, it is getting quite cold now.
There's the standings then, as I confirmed, the top 3 some way away, and then Kubera, who has got the ability to put pressure on if he gets off to a good start in the meeting. But then Bewley, of course, sadly not here due to injury. Lager, Jakobsen and Hansen, they are all here. Joel Kling is not. He's been signed off. They have the medical note. We're not quite sure what's wrong with him, but he isn't here due to injury here this evening. And Daniel Kaczmarek, one to watch in 10th place there in the standings. He's the wild card for the Torun Grand Prix next weekend, and he's also the Polish under-21 champion, current and also former under-21 champion, so a better rider probably than that standing suggests.
Yeah, this venue here is one that if no matter how good of a rider and how good form you're in, to come here and race in the senior level, let alone here in the under-21s, is to be able to dominate. And if you got a good setup and you can get you out of the start, you can pull away from everybody else, you can kind of think that might go on through the whole evening. Very, very difficult to achieve a full maximum on a track like this. So everybody is vulnerable. You'll see when they get to the start line how spread out the gate positions are. You can almost put 3 guys in one of the starting boxes. That's how wide it is.
Well, Maxim Drabic won this meeting last year with 18 points out of a possible 21, so that was a fine effort. And a couple of years ago, Dimitri Berger scored 19 here. So when you are set up, you can score. But as you say, scoring the full 21 is pretty difficult. That's what's up for grabs. And of course, as riders fail to make 21, then Drabic's task of retaining the championship becomes easier, taking a 6-point lead into the meeting over Smektala, and Lambert a further 5 behind. We are slightly ahead of schedule here, because we were told it was going to be 1:15 when Heat 1 was going to be taking place, but in fact the riders are at the approaching the start line at the moment. A couple of riders there now, so let's give you the lineup for Heat 1, which will feature Robert Schmel riding in red, just 4 points so far in the standings. Picked up 1 in Daugavpils, 3 in Leszno. Nick Skorja rides in blue, also some way down with 8 overall. It's Daniel Kaczmarek, the previously aforementioned Pole. He rides in white, and Gleb Choganov goes in yellow, the Russian who has been out on the injury list throughout the summer, and good to see him back racing at the business end of the campaign. So the riders, I can tell you, are at the start line, just digging in under the control of the start marshal, and hopefully you'll see those pictures in just a moment, because they are coming into line for the opening race here in round 3 in Pardubice. So we have the 4 into line, and it is Robert Schmel off the inside, Nick Skorja gate 2, there you go, Daniel Kaczmarek gate 3, and Gleb Choganov goes off the outside. Heat number 1 here in Pardubice, round 3 of the Under-21 World Championship. Choganov tries to come across from the outside and may just have done so in yellow. Good ride by Gleb Choganov, with Robert Schmel challenging on the inside in red. They are neck and neck down the back straight into the 3rd bend. Robert Schmel may have given Choganov a shove there on bends 3 and 4, and Schmel will take the advantage advantage at the end of lap 1. Good opening lap, and Chamel leads from Chugunov, who tries to go back down the inside. No room there, and Robert Chamel leads with Chugunov second, and Nick Scoyer pressing hard.
Yeah, I say Chugunov there coming from that outside gate right up against the fence. Sometimes you're lucky enough to have a little bit of dirt up to help you get you to the first corner, and they put a big challenge on Chamel that made the start from that inside gate, but they're spreading up now. The track looks pretty easy for all the guys.
We saw some good racing in this meeting last season, and Robert Chamel has not had much of a series so far. Looks like getting a race win on the board. Chugunov in second is pressing hard, but as he tries to press hard on Chamel, he's actually putting himself under threat from Nick Scoyer in third, and Daniel Kaczmarek is some way drift out the back. Front three well clear, and it looks like Scoyer will then miss out on Chugunov. So Robert Chamel, after a very competitive first lap, he managed to hold the inside and take Chugunov out wide, and he takes the flag in the opening race here this evening in the Czech Republic. It's a win for Robert Chamel over Gleb Chugunov, as he gets 3 points on the board at the start of tonight's meeting. Chugunov in second and Nick Scoyer in third, and that's a good start there for Robert Chamel. As I say, he had a tough start to the series, only 4 points from his first 2 rounds, but he gets a victory there, and that's a good start for him after a good first lap up against Gleb Chugunov.
You know, when you build up to get on this 391-meter racetrack, it's really difficult to think that, you know, you're going to have the answers from the word go. But the first race, get it out of the way. Now you can get back into the pits and start concentrating on if there's any adjustments that might help you since you've been out there training on it. But on the inside with Robert Chamel, gets himself out in front and hugs the inside line. The front wheel really as tight as he can to get to the curb there. Even though he's under pressure by Chugunov coming from that outside gate, you know, just staying on that inside line is exactly what you need to be doing, especially in the first race on this racetrack. So, you know, the boys are now just, you know, having their first 4 laps. Whether there's any changes needed, we'll have to see if they can get going faster. But still, a pretty good performance there from Robert Chamel to be able to get from the start to hold that inside line, which was the recipe to win the first race of the evening, I would say. Perfect place, yeah.
That's what it means back in the pits.
Absolutely. It's a championship, you know. Every point counts for sure.
So that's good stuff there from Robert Chamel, winning the opening race here this evening. We move on to heat number 2, and Daniel Spiller is the rider in red. Daniel Spiller going in red. Now he's taking the place of what would have been, well, Dan Bewley obviously is not here, long-term injured, and also Zach Weichnecht is also out injured. He would have come in, so that's a shame for him. But Daniel Spiller, who we saw in the second round, he is in for tonight's meeting. There he is in the red helmet coat. Lambert going in yellow. Patrick Mikel, who we saw as a wild card last year, he goes in blue. Jan Kvek in white as a wild card, and Lambert, as I say, battling for the title, battling for a rostrum finish. He is in yellow in heat number 2 and looking to put 3 points on the board straight away, trying to make up some ground on the likes of Drabik and Spectator. He's made a fantastic start too from the outside gate in yellow, comes across on Daniel Spiller, and Lambert has the advantage with an explosive start from gate 4. Robert Lambert leading from Daniel Spiller. It's Quebec moving into third place. Patrick Mikel out the back. Lambert, having made the start from the outside, now pegs the inside around bend 3 and 4 and is stretching clear and showing his undoubted class in this heat number 2. Lambert well clear of the scrap for second place.
Yeah, nice that Lambert identified that there is a little bit of something on that gate 4, and he just had to be really ready at that start. It looked like a fairly quick start to me. Be interesting to see what it looks like in the replay. But Robert Lambert, the Englishman, gets himself right out front straight away, and it was under no threat through the first lap, and now he's pretty much checked out in this race.
I thought he nailed a perfect start from the outside. We'll see it again, of course, on the replay, but he is showing, he's stretching it clear as he moves round bends 3 and 4 once again. The scrap is on for the third place with Jan Kvek, the wild card, trying to get in on Daniel Spiller, who didn't score in the second round of the series, but is holding a decent second place here at the back straight for the final time. There might be a last bench injured, so Spiller holds mid-track. It's going to be a clear win for Robert Lambert, who only scored 3 here last year and has matched that in 1 ride here tonight in heat number 2 as Lambert wins it. Second place goes to Daniel Spiller with Jan Kvek in third. So that's what Lambert wanted from his opening ride. On paper, not the toughest of opening rides, it has to be said, but you have to win them all, and he's certainly done so there from the outside. Lambert the winner, Spiller in second place, and Kvek in third.
Yeah, we get an opportunity now, hopefully, to get a different angle from that start, but you have to be ready in any championship, especially, you can see right there, it was basically that Kvek wasn't that ready, and from that camera angle, it looked like Robert got a flyer there, but basically he just hit it perfect. As you said, you mentioned it straight up that you thought he got a good start, and I can confirm that was the best start because he got out in front. Okay, whether these guys are title contenders or not, it's nice to see that Robert Lambert's just focused on the business right now. Comes out of gate 4, got nice style on the track, and his bike looks pretty quick. Let's see what it's going to be up against some of the heavy hitters that are in the front of this, the whole pack, when it comes down to the pointy end and the business end of this whole event.
Well, talking of heavy hitters, let's take a look at the lineup for heat number 3, because we will see on the inside Bartosz Smektala second overall with 35 points. On the outside in yellow, Maxim Drabik 41 points, the series leader. And so an early clash between Drabik and Smektala, and there is Bartosz Smektala there making his way to the start line. Also in the race, Filip Hayek, who missed round 2 in Leszno, and Fredrik Jakobsen, the promising young Dane as well. He is in white. But if Smektala, who gave it a real go last year up against Drabik here and kept him honest for a long period of time, if Smektala is going to put a challenge in, then he has to win this head-to-head here in heat 3.
And you would think that Drabik would also realize that it's only one race. You don't lose a championship losing 1 point. A second's going to be good. Smektala on the inside, and there we can see Jakobsen and the white helmet color coming out of gate number 3. I'd say these guys are pitted. That is, Smektala and Drabik both are pitted right next to each other in the pits when you walked it to see them. And respect to both these guys. They're really taking to this World Championship stuff by being very professional. You can see in the camp, in the pits, all the way through, getting to the seat number 3, ready for the business up against each other. They're going to be focused on getting to that first corner, as everybody is in the pits looking on for their first race.
Remember, in Leszno, Smektala was leading the final until Drabik got wiped out by Kubera. The race was rerun, controversially, wrongly many felt, and Drabik won the rerun to complete his maximum, and real frustration that was for Bartosz
What's the
Smektala.
starting guy doing? He says, get closer to that tape.
He's finally happy. Smektala is there on the inside. Smektala in red off the inside, Drabik in yellow off the outside. The key men in this heat number 3. They've both made good starts, and Smektala has got to the bend in front in the red helmet color. Smektala leads Drabik with Jakobsen in 3rd place, and in fact Jakobsen trying to get through on the inside of Drabik into bend 3, and that could make things interesting as Jakobsen is really close and really tight, and it might be that Drabik gets back. No, he gets a nudge there from Jakobsen, neck and neck for 2nd place. Smektala checks out. Good news for him if Drabik drops 2 points rather than 1. Decent ride by Fredrik Jakobsen, and this is just what Smektala wanted.
Oh, absolutely. When you get that draw and you actually going to start on the inside of the leader of this championship coming from the gate 4, that's Maxim Drabik, really finding it hard to get past the Dane to get into that 2nd position. He lifted a couple times as he was going around on the outside of Jakobsen, and I think that cost him. He's reaching up for the high as he can to get any dirt possible.
Well, Drabik has only dropped 1 point in the series so far, and he might be about to drop 2 in one race here. He's opening line in Pardubice. He's trying to move his way through on the inside, but gets clamped off by Jakobsen off the 2nd turn. Smektala is away and clear out front. He'll take it convincingly, and it will be 2nd place there for Fredrik Jakobsen, and only 1 point for Maxim Drabik. So that does make things interesting, because a 6-point series lead at the start of play tonight has now become 4 after 1 ride. So Maxim Drabik is going to be put under some pressure in the early part of tonight's meeting. Smektala winning heat 3 from Jakobsen, and Maxim Drabik in 3rd.
The cameramen were focused on that 2nd and 3rd position through most of that heat 3. As you can see from that outside gate, Maxim Drabik tried to get over the top of Bartosz Smektala, which come on the inside in the red helmet color. He pretty much dominated the first turn and had that bike working really well. And as we watch Drabik and Jakobsen battle, every time Drabik got himself in position, his bike reared. When it reared right there, he just kept losing that forward motion, which was critical for him to be able to at least get into 2nd place. But out of the start, he failed to get in there. And again, you can see the bike pulling Drabik the whole time. It's a little bit, the setup is a little bit touchy, I would say. It's just grabbing him right when he doesn't want it. And sometimes you need an aggressive bike, but it's a championship, and every point, as you've already focused on, he loses, Smektala gains, and in this heat number 3, that's 2 vital points that Smektala is going to be able to put on the board. See right here, Drabik really trying hard to get past Jakobsen, but didn't find the solution.
Is it fair to say that the draw has worked there in Smektala's favour? And I think he was unlucky in Leszno, so maybe that's a bit of play back there.
No doubt at all that the draw helps you. And anytime it's your first race, these guys all had training earlier on today, and they all seem to be very happy about the results of what they were testing and trying to set up. But the true answer is winning races at the start line. When they prepared the track, put some water down on it, you got the crowd, you got the pressure of the whole event, and it's down to you to get on that racetrack and make everything that you put together from the training come good. And sometimes you just need that first race to understand that if you got that right or not. And those slight adjustments could be the difference.
So Smektala lands the first blow. If you believe it's a two-horse race for the title, and if you believe it's a scrap for third between Robert Lambert and Dominic Kubera, then Dominic Kubera needs to win this Heat 4 because Robert Lambert already has 3 points on the board tonight. Kubera rides in red off the inside here. It's Davis Kermis going in blue, the Latvian. Patrick Hansen rides in white, and Andreas Lajaga goes in yellow. Patrick Hansen, he has had his moments during this series so far. 15 points so far. Lajaga a bit further behind on 10. This is heat number 4, and Dominic Kubera off the inside gate in red is the man to watch, certainly as far as the top of the standings is concerned. He's made a decent start, but look at this, charging across from the outside. Andreas Lajaga makes it all the way around the outside off bend 2, and he leads at the back straight for the first time. So it's Lajaga from Kubera, and the challenge from Patrick Hansen in third gets a bit crossed up off the fourth bend, and that's how they finish the opening lap. A good move there on the opening lap because Kubera was into the first bend in front, and Andreas Lajaga nicely around the outside there.
Actually, Lajaga had that one perfect. He didn't have anybody really getting his way coming from that outside starting position. When he dumped that clutch, the bike drove all the way through the first corner quite smoothly. Didn't get upset at all through it, and it was just enough for him to get over Kubera, which was on that inside gate, which has been the formula so far. 2 race wins on gate 1, only 1 from the outside. So here we go.
Well, Dominic Kubera is somewhat hemmed in here because he's got Patrick Hansen crawling all over him in the race for second place. He's been trying outside, trying an inside cutback as well. I don't think he's quite going to make it, but Andreas Lajaga has got the race in his pocket as he goes into bends 3 and 4 for the final time, ahead of Dominic Kubera, who will maintain that second place. There were times when Patrick Hansen did look faster. He tried to make his move around the outside off the fourth bend in particular, couldn't make it through, and Kubera runs a second, but that's a point lost for him in the battle with Lambert for a medal here overall tonight. So Lajaga, a good win there from the outside in Heat 4, taking the victory over Dominic Kubera with with Patrick Hansen in third place. Good first win there.
Oh yeah, I'd say that Andreas Lajaga just hit it perfect from that outside gate. He drove straight down the boards, if you call it, drag racing himself into that first corner, and as he did that, it just gave him that little bit of an edge to get over the top. And you can see right here with Dominic Kubera trying to get from that inside gate, but on the outside in the yellow, that perfect line getting into that first corner just drove him on the outside. A little bit of dirt that the boys' back wheel's been spraying up just off line is giving him that little bit of a cushion that he needed to get that back wheel hooked up. And the battle right here from Kubera just to hold on to that second place was going to haunt him a little bit with Hansen trying to cut around the racetrack from the high side to the low side, but it was all about Lajaga, man. He made a perfect start and really perfect 4 laps, I would say, in this Heat 4.
Now let's point out the situation, obviously, with the gap at 4 points now in the series between Drabic and Smektala. There is Lajaga making his way back to the pitch. Drabic on 42, Smektala on 38. Just look at their next ride, the next block of races. Smektala is up against Kermis, Skoya and Kvek, which again on paper looks like, and you can't guarantee it, but it looks like a fairly straightforward race, whereas Drabic in Heat 8 goes up against Chugunov, Lambert and Hansen. So Drabic has got by far on paper, as I say again on paper, by far the tougher race in Heat 8, and you just wonder whether that lead might come down again.
Look at it from the other way. If the races are this loaded, you can go out and pull it off. You've earned your world championship.
Absolutely.
So that's what a rider comes into. You take all the challenges. He's in the zone when he gets on that start line. He's just got to perform the best he can. If he can win the race, and that's mission done. His first race, he's got to forget about that one now. He got a 3rd place in that one. Get back to business. It can easily fall apart if you let that kind of a pressure get to you.
I'm not trying to talk him out of it in any way, shape or form. He scored the points in the first 2 rounds to justify where he is. But if you're Bartosz Smektala, having won that first race between them, then you're just seeing a little glimmer. Can we put some pressure on here?
And if you were studying the program, as I used to do, where I know other riders that didn't, you would see those races that are pretty key races to help you, and your focus will be on the positive side of things. If that comes into your hands where somebody starts to lose a little bit of points, that's just your momentum to keep going. So yeah, it's all to race for, and that's what's so exciting about this championship.
Did you have someone in the pits with you, spotting, checking scores and that sort of thing, or was it?
I think most riders will have somebody that's always keeping their eye on the racetrack, especially for conditions that could be changing. That, like right now, they're having a grade. Yeah, and the water's going on the track. And like right now, the water truck's going over gate 4. So your first race could be the next race off gate 4. So your spotter will come in and say, hey, just pay attention to that. And if you think that your adjustment of the bike might help you get out of a starting position with a little bit of water on it or not, you might want to think about those adjustments. And but at the end of the day, everybody needs a team of people around them, and that team's what helps you have eyes on everything. So yes, to answer your question, you would study the program, study other riders kind of where they lie in the format of the program, and maybe there's certain riders that we know that are specialists on the inside gates and some that are better on the outside gates or through traffic, and you got to weigh up all those things and just kind of put that in your memory plant, knowing that if he fell there and I did good here on my worst gate, because every rider is probably going to have one of those gates where it's not going to be quite easy for yourself. We call it the loaded race and the hardest gate. You got to make the best out of that. Don't get a last, but make sure you don't get any worse than a second if you can't win it.
Well, at the moment, gate 2 has only scored 1 point so far. Now, that can partly be down to who's going off that gate, because we do have with all respect, we do have a spread of ability in these meetings, but only 1 point from gate 2 so far. And that's, for example, that's what Smektala has in heat 6. But as I say, it's not the most loaded of races, so it might work in his favour. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, you got to understand that some of these gate stats will come down to the ability of that rider that's in.
And there is a spread in this series.
Yeah, for sure. I really believe that with Drabic himself, the team he's got behind him, the experience of his father racing, that would have put him in the position to stay where he's at in the championship. I mean, to win it last year, obviously, that was obvious that they just had the setup and obviously the ability of Maxime to go out there and do the business as well. That kind of was the complete package. But other riders have that same kind of background, and it's who's got the right combinations on the night after that or through the whole series, really.
Just a quick reminder of the format if you are watching for the first time either this year or for the first time in a couple of years since we've been producing these live streams of the Under 21 series. It's exactly the same as the Grand Prix in terms of the format. 20 heats, 20 qualifying heats, so top 8 through to semi-finals, top 2 from those into the final, and all the points throughout the evening carry through. So that's why you can score 21 in one night, and that's why you've got to make sure you're in those semis and finals to score the points. And as far as the Drabic-Smektala battle is concerned, Smektala will very much want to be in a semi-final with Drabic, because that's the chance to take points off him, not have them both scoring the same number of points in a semi. So if it does come down to a close finish between the two of them, he'll want to be in the same race where he can control Drabic, or maybe even vice versa. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But Heat 5 is next up with the riders at the start line, and Andreas Lajaga will be going in red, Robert Schmel in blue, Daniel Spiller in white, Frederick Jakobsen goes in yellow, and these have all had some success in their opening rides, because the two on the inside, Lajaga and Schmel, they both picked up wins in their first rides. Spiller and Jakobsen both second places, and Jakobsen doing a good job, particularly in his first ride. So yeah, all these gone well so far.
Well, here's the point now. Lajaga came from the outside gate in his first race, and Schmel came from the inside gate in the first race. Now you got Lajaga on the very inside, so he doesn't have that outside gate. Whether they can repeat the same result
with that watering on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go.
Lajaga, Schmel, Spiller and Jakobsen is the lineup for Heat 5 here in Pardubice. Away they go, and Lajaga off the inside will get to the first bend in front, with Jakobsen trying the run round the outside. Robert Schmel also in the equation, coming off the second bend. He might still maintain second place, with Jakobsen trying to go round him on bends 3 and 4. Jakobsen taking plenty of speed and pace around bends 3 and 4, covered off by Andreas Lajaga for now, and Lajaga leads on to lap 2, but Frederick Jakobsen looking fast there in second place, trying to make a cutback. Slight lift there by Lajaga. He still leads on lap 2.
Yeah, I would say exactly the same thing. You just said that Jakobsen looks like he's got some speed with that bike. Come from that outside, he wound it up all the way around there, but he's had to come back to the inside. But Lajaga holding on, he just can't make any mistakes.
Frederick Jakobsen will have the fans of the Paul Parrott's hoping he does well tonight, and also that he's all set for Monday night and their big playoff night against Somerset. He's certainly putting a big challenge in on Andreas Leaga, but Leaga still covers things off for now. It's Robert Schmel in third place over Daniel Spiller. Looks like they've sorted themselves out now on the last lap, and Andreas Leaga looking like making it 2 rides and 2 wins here from his opening 2 outings this evening. He goes wide off the final bend, he wins it comfortably, and it's Andreas Leaga in heat 5 over Fredrik Jakobsen, with Robert Schmel in third place over Daniel Spiller. So 6 out of 6 for Andreas Leaga, former Scunthorpe man in the UK briefly, and he gets another 3 points there to his account in race number 5. Leaga over Fredrik Jakobsen, Robert Schmel in third, so the inside gate did work there. Jakobsen trying hard from the outside, couldn't quite make it round.
Yeah, Leaga just had to double that clutch that thing. Watch him in the red. He's really muscling the front wheel to keep it down on the ground, but it was just enough for him to have the power to get him out front. He moved offline just out a little bit. There was a sneak option, if there was ever going to be one, for Robert Schmel to be able to come back and make a nice cutback. Jakobsen put the pressure on it from that outside gate, and it looked like for the first lap that he might have enough speed to get right around Leaga, but he couldn't just pull it off. And I would say right here in that corner, that little bit of an overturn right there just lost this bit of a drive he needed to keep the momentum going. But still, a good performance from Andreas Leaga to be able to hold on from start to finish from that inside gate again. That's 3 wins from there.
Yep, he finished 10th in the series last year, Leaga, and actually scored 6 points here in this venue, and he scored 6 from 2 rides tonight, so we'll be happy with that as he comes over to take that victory. We move on to Heat 6. This is Smektala back on the circuit, and as I say, this is the race that I did earmark as being, on paper, one of the more straightforward ones. Davis Kermis riding in red, Bartosz Smektala in blue, Nick Skoja in white, and there is Jan Kvek going in yellow in heat 6. So Kermis failed to score in his first ride. Skoja, Kvek both scored 1 point. Smektala in blue, the obvious favourite, just that gate 2 has not been a good starting spot so far.
No, that's right. Well, we've just seen there that Kvek was getting off the bike and just pushing that dirt down in gate 4. You see from the texture of the dirt there, the riders have to negotiate where's going to be the best position to launch themselves out of the starting box. Before the tapes go up, they have the opportunity of just seeing if they can get their back wheel to grab a little extra traction by letting the clutch out a little bit to be prepared for their start.
Keep your eye on Bartosz Smektala in the blue helmet colour. Can he make it from gate number 2 here? And Davis Kermis does make the start in red. Smektala is there alongside him. Turning back there is Jan Kvek. Smektala will have to go all the way around the outside here in blue, and he's done so. It shows just how hard it is off gate 2. He's got himself up to the front now, but he had to work for it. It's Bartosz Smektala out in front. It's close for second, third and fourth, with Davis Kermis currently holding it over Nick Skoja, who tries to send one down the inside at the start of lap 2. Meanwhile, Jan Kvek trying to go around the outside. They're close, but Smektala has checked out here.
He sure has. And he put together a perfect first turn there. He really had to think hard. I'm talking about Bartosz Smektala to be able to get that off of gate 2. He didn't quite make a clean start there, but he was able to put the bike in the right place to the first corner. Look at the lead he's already taken away from these other 3.
Yeah, well, clear as the 3 continue to scrap, with Davis Kermis holding the second place, going a bit wide off the fourth bend, and Jan Kvek in yellow, who's already gone round Nick Skoja, is now going to go inside Davis Kermis and make it through into second. So a good effort there to go from fourth to second, and Kermis also almost kept the back wheel there of Kvek. He tried to respond on the final lap. Smektala is not seeing any of this because he's so far in front. He wins the race, heat number 6, and the second place will be a fine effort by Jan Kvek. The home fans enjoyed that one. Davis Kermis in third place over Nick Skoja. It was quite a good scrap there for second, third and fourth, but Smektala, after having to work for it off the second bend, he missed all the fun and games, and he gets 3 more points, and as things stand, he's only 1 point behind Maxim Drabik in the series. Smektala wins heat 6, Kvek in second, Kermis in third.
Yeah, the total score line looks quite interesting, but to keep the pressure on, this is how you got to react. You see Bartosz Smektala in the blue from gate number 2. It's not won a heat yet tonight until this heat 6 finished. And you can see Smektala really letting the bike do the work by putting it into the dirt. Now for him, fortunately, the track grading happened at a heat 4, so this is the second race after the track grading. There's a little bit of dirt on that mid-track, and his back wheel in that dirt through the first corner just gave him that little bit of extra incentive to get to that outside line first, and it was just exactly what he needed to do. He checked out as the other three boys battled, and there was a battle going on. And this position right here, you can see Score really lay in last place, and he continued to get last at the end of it all. But there was a bit of a negotiation right there for Quebec to get himself into that second position. He done a really clean job of that, coming under the underneath there in that race.
Good effort, fourth to second, but the Smectala camp happy enough with that. They can do no more than win their races, and that's what they're doing so far. Heat 7 is next up. Filip Hayek rides in red, Dominic Cabrera goes in blue, Patrick Miquel in white, Daniel Kaczmarek in yellow. There is Filip Hayek, who missed the second round, was involved in a rather freakish crash in round one in Daugavpils when Robert Schmel had come down off the second bend and didn't appear to be a great deal of danger, but Hayek managed to run into the fallen machine, and that put him out for a time, but he is now back racing and goes off the inside here in Heat 7. Kubera goes in blue, Miquel in white, Kaczmarek goes in yellow. Heat 7 gets underway. Dominic Kubera makes a good start there in blue and then goes straight to the inside. Now he moves out to try and block the run of Daniel Kaczmarek. It's done so very effectively, so much so that Hayek has gone through into second, and Kaczmarek will try and go back around the outside in the yellow helmet colour, going really wide off the fourth bend there and making it back through into second place. Dominic Kubera, a good start there from gate 2, went tight to the inside early on, then drifted out wide to block Kaczmarek, and Kubera is racing clear here.
Yeah, he learned the line right there from Smectala in the race 6, did exactly the same thing. Come out of gate 2, straight into the corner, lean to the inside, let the bike drift up, straight to the mid-track where the dirt's at, and pulled him right around.
It is comfortable so far for Dominic Kubera, who's trying to keep the pressure on for an overall rostrum finish in the series. Starting the evening chasing Robert Lambert for that particular spot, but there's no one chasing, everyone chasing him here in Heat 7 as he leads onto his last lap. Kaczmarek in second. Hayek is still holding third over Patrick Miquel, who's not able to make any impact in that particular battle, but it will be Dominic Kubera, who was very entertaining indeed in the previous round. He wins heat number 7 and he takes it over Kaczmarek, with Filip Hayek hanging on there for third spot. So Dominic Kubera moves on to 5 points from 2 rides here this evening with that victory. Keeps him nicely in the frame, and a good effort there on the first couple of bends. Kubera winning Heat 7, Daniel Kaczmarek in second, and Filip Hayek in third.
Yeah, Kaczmarek coming from that gate position 4, when he let the clutch out to get in the first corner. It looked like he was the one that made the advantage out of the box to get going. As riders to the pits look on and practice their imitation starts, if you would say, the reactions of what the referee might be doing. But the referee's pretty consistent throughout the evening so far, I would say. But Kubera did the perfect first corner, got himself into the front, coming out of the box in the blue helmet color, the bike lifting nicely, gave him plenty of speed. At this point, just on the inside of Kaczmarek to be able to cut his drive off, and it really upset him to the point to where, you know, he had no answer after that. Just to hold on to that second place was good enough for him. But Kubera, a nice clean ride, and that bike worked well for him all the way through those 4 laps. Concentrate, and he's got a good setup so far. 5
points from 2 rides. Dominic Kubera, Bartosz Smectala on 6, Andreas Liaga on 6 on the night. Now, what about Heat 8? Big one here at this stage of the meeting and the series as a whole. Gleb Chugunov goes in red, Robert Lambert in blue, Maxim Drabik in white, Patrick Hansen in yellow. Tough race ahead, and that man there in white, Maxim Drabik, knows that at the start of this race, his series lead is down to 1 point. It's his race in hand. Tough one, though.
Oh, absolutely. And guess what? Gate 3's not won a race at all. So put the current world champion on it, trying to defend his lead with only just that 1 point. How much harder can it get for the guy? You know, Drabik's going to have to really let it hang out here out of gate 3. It'll be very, very calculating through the whole laps to be able to pull one over Robert Lambert, which went out there and had a, well, I don't know if it was an easy 3 points that he gained to make that position, but still got a big fight here, Drabik does, to keep that pressure on.
I don't think Lambert will find blue easy against Chugunov and Hansen even off the outside. I think this could be really interesting. Heat 8, Chugunov, Lambert, Drabik and Hansen are at the start line. Perfect start, away they go. Lambert does make a fantastic start there, what do I know. Lambert makes a great one there in blue. Drabik is trying to go with him. He's trying to move through into second. He's still got past Chugunov. So Robert Lambert leads Maxim Drabik. Drabik will go hard into bends 3 and 4. Lambert rides towards mid-track. Can he get speed coming off the bend here? And it looks like he can. Lambert leads from Drabic, and they pulled well clear there from Gleb Chuganov with Patrick Hansen at the back. So Lambert does make it off gate 2 to lead Maxim Drabic.
Fair play from Lambert, I tell you what. He wasn't tempted to come off that outside dirt cushion line to be able to clamp Drabic, to hold on, to make sure he can seal the deal. He's let the bike do what it naturally wants to do. To go fast, you got to keep that back wheel in the cushion, and he's doing exactly that.
Remind you that Lambert only scored 3 points in this meeting last year. He was suffering with injury at that time of year, but it didn't go right for him. He's certainly got something set up which is working tonight because he's beating Maxim Drabic. I think Drabic playing the percentage game maybe here. 2 points will still help him towards his series total, and maybe some more straightforward rides to come. We will see. But Robert Lambert looking for a medal at the very least here this evening overall, and he's gone about it very much the right way. Lambert wins heat 8 from Drabic, Chuganov in 3rd, and Patrick Hansen at the back. Great start there from gate 2. Robert Lambert to get the better of Gleb Chuganov in the early stages. Drabic put himself in the mix early on as well. That was very important for him. He gets 2 points. Smektala's still gaining ground overall, but Lambert wins heat 8 from Drabic and Chuganov.
Well done, Mr. Lambert, reading the racetrack. That was the last heat before the grader's going to come out and re-groom the racetrack. And that little bit of cushion on that outside, exactly what you see. Lambert's front wheel just touches the ground as he gets into the corner, lets the bike drift up into the dirt, and doesn't panic because Drabic made a nice cutback coming from gate 3. Very, very difficult. Nobody's won a race in that position. The guy with the number 1 on his back, that is the Polish rider, Maxim Drabic, does a nice turn back, thinking he's going to have the speed to possibly get under Robert Lambert that came from gate number 2, which was a bit of a bogey gate, but now that's 3 wins from that one. He was able to let the bike go out, touch that dirt, and it pulled him right around, and the team's happy. Well done.
They certainly should be, because he's now one of 3 unbeaten riders on the night. Robert Lambert, 2 rides and 2 wins. There's Neil Vatcher also, the Great Britain under-21, a youth manager with him as well. And Lambert with 6 points, Smektala with 6 points, and Laoga with 6 points on the night, with Dominic Kibera on 5. And the series overall, Maxim Drabic on 44, Bartosz Smektala on 41, and Robert Lambert on 36. And that's neatly covering off Dominic Kibera, who's on 30. So it's going well for Lambert so far, and Smektala has halved Drabic's lead. It started at 6. It started at 5, I should say. He's at 6. Sorry, he's got it down to 3.
Yep.
So 44 to 41. So that is good news for Smektala at this stage. Long way to go, but we've certainly got a championship on here.
Yep, there's no doubt about that. There's a couple of riders here that firmly believe that they could seal the deal as long as they stay on top of their game. And whenever you're racing on this 391-meter racetrack, I would say that Pardubice in the past, I've never, me personally, been on the racetrack when there's been what I would say a bit of dirt. And there's not a lot of dirt, but there's just a little bit out there where the riders can let the bike drift, and it will pull them around the corners. That little bit more security, knowing that the back wheel and being in the position on the racetrack midway or a little bit further out will get you the job done if you got that set up.
And how does that change as the night goes on? Will that go wider and
you know,
more difficult to use?
Right now with these riders, they don't tend to be reaching big lines. The way the race goes, out of the 4 riders, you might find 2 of them sticking to the inside and 2 of them maybe touching the outside, 1 of them in the outside firmly, as we've seen the last couple of races. So the outside's really not getting worn out. You get more senior riders on it, you'll find the race lines become really wide on this track. It is exceptionally wide for a speedway track, and it tends to slicken the inside up to the point to where the riders the line's going so wide that the shortest way around the racetrack becomes a new line, even though there's no dirt on it.
Certainly when they put 6 on track at the same time on Sunday, and 6 of the 6 top boys in there, and there's some big names in that meeting.
Good point. I don't think I've ever raced this racetrack where there's not 6 riders on it. That's a very valid point there.
It is the 70th Golden Helmet on Sunday, and Václav Milik is defending it, and Emil is back to ride, and Andreas Jonsson and Antonio Limbach. It's a top field, and 6 of them on that circuit could be interesting.
You know, me and Ollie Olsen had we went and looked at the Wall of Fame, let's call it, of photographs in the clubhouse here, and we were sitting there talking about the success of being in the Golden Helmet race. And it eluded me. I had a chance of winning it once, and I made a mistake when I was in front, and that put me out of that final. but it's hard to win. And I think he said he had 7 of them, and he gave 2 of them away. And then you see Jerry Stansel, I think there's 5 golden helmets that he's got in the program. So fair credit to those guys. It's a difficult one, and 70 years of doing it. But when you bring the lineup of what you just described to this venue, it's pretty exciting times. And for a rider, it's difficult, but at the same time, it's such a great feeling if you can actually do it. Never done it, but I've been there, and I would have loved to have done it.
It's actually an individual event that stood the test of time, and whilst we have Grand Prix and Euro Championships and whatever, some of the more regular individual meetings that tracks used to run year after year, they faded away. People didn't go to them, or they fell off the calendar. This one has stayed on. It's every year, late September.
Do you know how the format is, by the way?
Well, I wasn't going to try and describe it.
Yeah, well, what it is, as a rider, you get a set of 6 riders, right? You're in that riders, in a group, and you have to race them 3 times. And whoever comes out of that group then goes on and forwards on, and you get the next setup. So that's quite interesting in itself, because you don't really get to race against all the best riders. You got to race against the same riders in a different gate position. So it is pretty unique.
Well, that's what they're looking forward to on Sunday. And some of the other riders here tonight are also racing tomorrow in the ribbon event. It's a full weekend of action. You can make your way through, can't you? That's the idea. But there is Bartosz Smektala, and looking pretty calm and focused. Not saying a lot.
When we walked through the pits earlier, most of the riders weren't to be seen, because it was only like a half an hour or so before the starts, and they're in the dressing rooms getting themselves suited up. But talking to some of the mechanics and just acknowledging the fact, how you doing? You don't want to, get in there and ask too many questions. Besides, maybe you get, the quote of the night or something. But we'll go in there and just say, hey, how'd it go today? How was training? And they said, yeah, really happy. And Robert Lambert's team says, yeah, we're really happy. Again, you've mentioned the fact that he's not had the best of results. I think 2016 was. Yeah,
he did okay here a couple of years ago. In all fairness, he picked up 11 here 2 years ago. So that shows he's in the battle that was against riders like Max Frick and Jack Holder and Berger. So he was in it, but it's last year he had a bad one.
Yeah,
for reasons.
For the injury reasons, and still we witnessed that because I was here then. So it's nice to see that they've come away from the practice and the training to get the bike set up, and they felt really confident. But it's the same thing. I walked through on the other side when the riders were coming out of the changing rooms getting ready, and it was nice to see that I had Smektala come up to me and acknowledge me and say hello, and he's keen for it to have it. Drabic, I didn't get a chance to see him, but still the pressure's on these guys, and it's nice to see just from the outsider, even though I've been in their position many times, how you deal with it. How do you deal with other top riders coming in and saying hello, or former riders like in my situation, how they feel, how they react, and it's just nice to see that the top end of these guys that I got to see are all quite comfortable and pretty much wrapping their arms around this atmosphere of the World Championships, and there's more to come. And
this as Gleb Chugginoff there is doing an interview, and if we do get English audio, we will of course bring it to you. But it's a series that so many big names have won down the years, or people have gone on to become big names. Some of them that have become world champions never quite managed to win this. But you look at the recent winners under the current format of the Under-21 series, and you look at Patrick Dudek, Piotr Pawlicki, Bartosz Zmarzlik, basically the current Polish World Cup, or the ex-World Cup team, people that Speedway Nations are choosing from. Max Frick won it a couple of years ago. He's not too far away from the Grand Prix series. So Darcy Wall was a double winner. Emil won it a couple of times. It's a really prestigious title to win.
Anything that's got a World Championship on the end of it is what you want to try to focus on winning. So yeah, it brings the best, and to have this kind of experience of the pressure, I would say, that experience will definitely be something that you want to bank and kind of feed off of if you ever get yourself into that position in the senior side of things as Grand Prix qualifiers, I'd say, or
wild cards.
Yeah. You have to understand and live it a couple times to actually understand, how to deal with it. And if you got the solution, the experience will definitely give you the opportunity of having that. So there's no doubt it's a blessing to be in these positions.
If you can see out of the window, and I should point out that our window is not completely unobscured because it's full of monitors and computers and all sorts, but they are doing an absolutely mega track water out in front of us. They've got the big water cart, and it's throwing out. Well, there you go. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And that is a lot more extensive than what we did off the first 4 heats.
Well, I'll just note this: where that water truck's, where the wheel marks are, that's probably the farthest these riders have been. And you can see from the scoreboard there that you know, if you got an opportunity after the first race or two after the grading, that outside there, the little bit of spray that's coming off the wheels on the inside, throwing out there, it's getting really cool now. The evening's cooling right down. That could be the extra grip that you need. So there could be some even bigger lines being produced. And when you get all the top guys towards the end of the meeting, when you get into that position of getting into the finals, you definitely want to be able to note where that dirt might be.
Big job for the track staff actually to maintain this circuit for 3 successive days of racing and practice sessions as well. So a lot for them to do, lots of races taking place, and they've got to make sure from their point of view the track is in tip-top condition for the end, the crucial races at the end on Sunday. So they have to make sure they do whatever they have to do to keep it right.
Being a bit of a smart butt here, that's 70 years of experience. They might be able to get it right by then.
Very good point. There's the standings. Maxim Drabic 44, Bartosz Smektana 41, Robert Lambert 36, Dominic Kubera 30, Andreas Lager now 5th on 23, Dan Bewley still 6th on 21. We ought to mention Dan Bewley because his performance in Leszno was for me one of the big season highlights, seeing him going and really giving it to some of the shall we say more established, more experienced riders in that meeting was fantastic. What happened to him in the big crash at Workington at the end of August was such a shame, a massive accident. But the good news is that he's on the road to recovery. Saw him on TV last week in his wheelchair. He is getting there, and hopefully we'll see him back next year because he's got plenty more to give.
Yeah, well, for the inexperienced Dan Bewley to come to that meeting and, as you said, highlight his ability is unquestionable. He's got the talent. He's got a big future. And, you know, to have an injury of any sort in anybody's career is kind of I don't know, kind of cements your drive in some ways to be able to say, okay, I've been there and done that. Your eyes might be open a little bit different than the riders you're up against. But when you believe in yourself and you don't want to ever get yourself in a position of getting hurt, you got to take that and kind of seal the deal that you actually potentially have the talent to go out there and win big races. And we watched it, we witnessed it. Yeah. The kid's got a big future, so wish you well, Dan. I know you're going to make a speedy recovery and you're going to get back on the racetrack. I think you know my feelings, buddy, so keep going. There's
a fascinating interview with Dan Bewley in the Speedway Star magazine this week, all about the psychology of recovering from crashes, and we do wish him all the best. If you are watching, Dan, we look forward to hopefully seeing you back in this series next year. Believe it or not, it's actually raining here, ever so slightly. So that's rather unexpected, but hopefully it won't do any great damage. But we do have a bit of rain coming down at this stage as the riders are in line for Heat 9. Jan Kvek in red off the inside, Patrick Hansen blue, gate 2, Robert Schmel white, gate 3, and Philip Hayek goes in yellow off the outside. Heat number 9 gets underway. Schmel in white with 4 points so far. Has not really made the start. The 2 from the inside have done. Schmel has tried to turn back there off the second bend. That's a very neat move indeed by Robert Schmel, but now he could get done going in by Patrick Hansen on the 3rd bend, and in fact Schmel now goes back into 3rd place. I wonder if the track watering has actually caught people out there on that first lap. There's trouble for Jan Kvek. He looks like he's slowing down. Patrick Hansen has taken the lead ahead of Robert Schmel. Kvek is still nursing that machine home in 3rd. That was all extra tough there on the first lap.
Remember we talked about the team, what the team's going to be doing, what their sights, and bringing the information to the rider in the pits, and then maybe making those slight adjustments. This is a perfect example. Is heat number 9. You mentioned how many times that water truck went around. Definitely has affected the conditions of the track.
Jan Kvek's bike sounds absolutely awful. He comes over the start-finish line every time. He's still managing to bring it home in 3rd place. Patrick Hansen is out in front here of Robert Schmel, and there was plenty of place swapping there on the first lap and a half or so before it got sorted out with Hansen out in front. He comes into bends 3 and 4 with the lead over Schmel, and that is the way they're going to finish. 3 points in heat number 9 for Patrick Hansen. 2nd place Robert Schmel, and somehow, I'm not quite sure how, Jan Kvek has got that bike home in 3rd place. It sounded awful throughout the race, but he has managed to come home there in 3rd. So Patrick Hansen had only scored 1 point from his first 2 rides, but he's managed to put 3 on the board there. And you can see from the screen there that there are some increasingly heavy raindrops coming down here at Pardubice. So this could really shake things up. Hansen winning heat 9, Schmel in second, and Quebec in third.
Robert Schmel came from that gate 3 and made a superb turn back in the first corner. Watch him in the white. Didn't really make a good enough start. Already banking on making the big cutback, and sneaks himself right up the inside of Quebec to be able to get himself in there. But as soon as they get into turn 3, get full speed on the bikes, Hansen comes barreling through the inside there and just steals that inside line, and perfectly executed there, I would say, from the inside. Quebec trying to get in that first corner, drifts off wide a little bit. As he does, Hansen makes a cut back in the blue, as Schmel was already there first. Schmel's looking to the inside now and realizes there's too big of a hole there, and Patrick Hansen just sneaks underneath there and continues it for the remainder of the race, heat 9. Still, they're out there battling with the conditions. Quite wet from that water truck, I would say.
Well, yeah, they clearly they weren't expecting this rain, because they would not have put that much water down in the break if they knew what was about to come.
Yep, there's no doubt about it. I don't know if there was forecast of any rain whatsoever.
Not particularly. I think the shower risk was.
It's only just a little drizzle, but it's just enough to put a little bit.
It looks quite dramatic when you look in the floodlights, Sam, and you can see it. According to my fairly rudimentary phone calculations, it says 40% chance of rain. Where we are now. Well, we have got that 40% chance at the moment. So we're just awaiting the riders on track for the next race. The 2-minute warning is on, but there just appeared to be a delay in getting them on the circuit. I did wonder if they were holding it up, but I don't think it's bad enough to be held up.
They normally don't, unless it's really pouring down and it's going to infect their vision. It just looks to me like a bit of a drizzle. I mean, it's enough to say, yeah, there's water spots all over the helmet color there. But the way the conditions of the track is, the riders should be thinking about their setup a little bit, because a little bit of adjustment might be needed.
Well, according to the other forecast, it says the rain will end in 17 minutes.
Okay.
But again, that one, that turns out that's normally quite accurate. We will see.
Yep. Fair enough.
It won't be too much.
The setup change that the only thing you would possibly do is just maybe tame the engine down a little bit. There's a couple of ways of doing that. You could do that with ignition or carburation, jetting, or even change the rear sprocket. But these bikes of the modern speedway bikes are fairly critical when it comes to overgearing or undergearing the bike. And sometimes it's only one sprocket number change, whether it's a 56 or a 57 or whatever. Just one number can make a difference on the bike performance. Finding the sweet spot, let's call it, of how these bikes react. But when there's a little bit of water on the racetrack, sometimes it's worth just dropping a tooth, making the back wheel spin a little bit more, so you don't have to have as much throttle to get the same kind of speed. And it just might be enough to help you. But these guys here are still learning that craft, and even some of the best are still learning.
Maxim Drabic on track in heat 10 in the red helmet colour, currently 3 points in front in the standings. His chief rival here could be Dominic Kubera in white. Drabic has made a good start from the inside gate, and Kubera has been sent wide off the second turn because Daniel Spiller is there in second place, and in fact Nick Scoyer almost came through. Well, then Spiller goes wide on the entry to bend 3. That allows Kubera to come through into second place, but Maxim Drabic has taken advantage of the inside gate, and meanwhile Nick Scoyer now moves through inside Daniel Spiller into third. So Spiller was second on the opening lap, but he's now dropped to the back, and it's Maxim Drabic for the first time tonight with some fresh air in front of him. He leads heat 10.
Oh wow, nice one. And the formula to actually get that bike in front from that inside gate position might a bit easier for him, because he's not had the best draw so far with riders and gate position, but nice to see him out front.
He's got a good gate on that occasion in the race against Kubera, who's one of the other big hitters in the meeting, and Drabic leads on to his last lap and has made fairly short work of this heat. Made the start off the inside gate and has controlled it, because Kubera was forced into an early battle with Daniel Spiller. That's all sorted itself out now as they're going to bend 3 and 4 for the final time, and the reigning champion will get his first win of the meeting in heat 10. 3 points for Maxim Drabic over Dominic Kubera, with Nick Scoyer in third over Daniel Spiller. So Drabic will be able to breathe a little bit easier after that one. Gets a race victory. That's 6 for the evening, and that means that Smectania now needs to win his next ride just to get it back to 3 points. Drabic winning heat 10, Kubera in second, and Nick Scoyer in third.
tricky conditions on this 391-meter Pardubice racetrack for the riders in Heat 10. But the current world champion, Maxim Drabic, from that inside gate, makes no mistakes of getting that bike into that first corner, and he ran a very conservative line, I would say, just stuck to the inside line where the rest of the riders negotiated for track position. Very difficult because with that little bit of water on there, you're not getting a real positive drive. Might not be as consistent as you would like. So when you're going into the corners, the bike will slip a little bit further than you want it to, and you got to turn the bike a little bit harder sometimes. And just to get that traction, back wheel on the ground is very difficult. You see the water on the camera lens there, how much these riders are dealing with that. It's not enough to really handicap their ability to finish the race or put them into danger, but it's just enough to find that their setups before they came into this rainy conditions could be a little bit needed, maybe possibly alter it a little bit different.
Well, there he is. That is Maxim Drabic, the defending champion, and looking to make things as easy as he can for himself. Bartosz Schmechtala is next out in Heat 12, and he'll be going up against the unbeaten so far, Andreas Leaga, in that one. Before that, Heat 11, and it features the unbeaten so far, Robert Lambert, who rides there in the red helmet colour. You can see the rain coming down. Fredrik Jakobsen is the man in blue. Daniel Kaczmarek there goes in white, and Davis Kermis goes in yellow. So, well, the umbrellas are out, or we're on the certainly in the uncovered parts of the stadium as it continues to fall, and Robert Lambert off the inside gate here must surely, Sam, be well placed to make it, hopefully from his point of view, 3 rides, 3 wins.
Yes, of course.
Jakobsen's looked quick so far.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to say that. Yeah, I would say Jakob looked really fast in this last race, and even when he was riding mid-track. The conditions will possibly alter what they did in the previous race. Lambert might be in the best position from the inside. We'll soon see.
Lambert red, Jakobsen blue, Kaczmarek white, Kermis goes in yellow. A bit of edging there from Jakobsen, but he's punished himself, and the race continues, and Robert Lambert has the advantage, and that was made easy for him by Fredrik Jakobsen jumping at the start, and Jakobsen is trying to make his way through on the inside of Davis Kermis going into the third bend, which he does. Certainly a difference there as Kermis tries to come back at him off the fourth bend, and Jakobsen forced to repass him again into lap 2, which he does. So Jakobsen does go through into second, but he's been given a battle here by Davis Kermis with Daniel Kaczmarek at the back, and all that's allowing to do, Robert Lambert's full clear.
Yeah, Kermis has really put in a good performance there, but equally Jakobsen has finally got himself in probably the better position of that little battle right there. But out in front, Robert Lambert just checked out as soon as he got that, let that clutch out. White hooked up in the first corner and started pulling away.
Not quite sure why we're not seeing the best or better from Daniel Kaczmarek in this series, because he has got some ability, winning Polish on the 21 title a couple of times. To say he's got a wild card for Torun next weekend, but he cannot make any impression on Davis Kermis as things stand. But Robert Lambert's Great Britain, Robert Lambert looking for a roster and finish overall at the very least, and he's going to make it 9 points out of 9 here in round 3. Lambert wins it. Second place is Jakobsen, and third Davis Kermis over Daniel Kaczmarek in race number 11. So Lambert moves on to 9 in the meeting, and that's obviously very well placed indeed, not only in the standings so far, but also for a semi-final spot come the end of 20 heats. Lambert the winner of Heat 11, Jakobsen in second place, and Davis Kermis was third. And you can see the movement there from the rider in blue, and it just caught out Fredrik Jakobsen at the start there, Sam.
Yeah, well, as soon as you try to fool yourself to think you can make a better start, sometimes it backfires on you. It didn't backfire on Robert Lambert. He concentrating off the inside gate. Nobody was going to tempt him to go into that tape or jump, because he's not looking at nothing but the outside of the tape where the magnet is, where that's the releasing point, and that's the quickest point to be focused on. And the battle was on there for the rest of the guys there. But nice to see Robert Lambert actually continue his winning streak, and a nice wheelie there to boot.
Lambert talked about the second round in Lejno, and it's fair to say it didn't come at the right time for him, because it was the very day after Cardiff, which in what's been a fantastic season for Robert Lambert, Cardiff was really the one time it went badly wrong. Not entirely his fault by any means. Things went against him.
There were
time.
Challenging times for him.
Yeah,
so
and that leads to the very next day.
Yeah, actually. So when you start second guessing some of the things that you think you're in control of, you come into the next event and you got to really equally start to outsmart maybe you're thinking. Sometimes it's not necessary, so it just puts that little bit of doubt.
So Bartosz Smektala rides in Heat 12, as does the rider in red, Andreas Leaga. They are the two of the unbeaten riders, along with Robert Lambert in the meeting. Gleb Chuganov in blue and Patrick Mikel goes in yellow. So another important race here for Smektala. Currently 6 points behind Drabik in the standings. This is his race in hand. Can get it back to 3 here if he wins it, but it will be tough against Andreas Leaga.
Yeah, Smektala needs to do it, but nobody's won off that gate number 3 yet. Heat 12 might be the first time.
Yeah, key race here, heat number 12, and away they go. And Leaga got an absolute shocker. Smektala is going to battle for it, and Leaga almost got there still because gate 1 is a good run to the bend. But Leaga didn't move off the start line, and Bartosz Smektala said thanks very much. He's in white, he went off gate 3, he got the advantage, and Smektala is race leading here against Andreas Leaga. Third place is with Gleb Chuganov, Patrick Mikel at the back, but that one works superbly there for Bartosz Smektala.
See how the tide can change sometimes. Just got to believe in your ability. And Bartosz Smektala brilliantly made a good start off of gate 3, and he's riding the track real well, mid-track, getting a nice ride there, just negotiating where he wants to go. It's really wide to let everybody know, and it's 390 meters. Smektala is using the whole 390 meters, 91 meters to be in effect, and he's doing a good job.
We saw Smektala in some big battles last year as he tried to put pressure on Drabik. He had a fantastic race with Yevgenis Kostigos during the meeting. Tonight, so far, it's fairly straightforward. Certainly work being done on the first half lap or so, and he's doing all he can as he comes around turn 3 and 4 for the final time, and it will be Bartosz Smektala, the first man to win off gate 3. He wins heat number 12, looking down the bike, in fact, as he went over the start-finish line, but he makes it. Smektala winning it over Andreas Leaga, his first point dropped of the meeting. Gleb Chuganov in third, and Smektala gets the gap overall to Drabik back down to 3 points after 3 rides apiece here in Pardubice. So Smektala winning heat 12, Leaga in second place, and Gleb Chuganov was third.
When you come to the start line and you're faced with the bogey gate, what do? Just concentrate on your own game. Let everybody else make the
Leaga
mistake.
got a terrible
Yeah, Leaga didn't even move out of the start. I don't think he tried to move. There's a Danish team manager, that's Hans Nielsen, probably focusing on the fact that what the heck happened there with Leaga, but a gift right there maybe for Smektala, because he was able to cleanly get himself into the racing position, coming off of turn 2, back wheel in that dirt. The bike pulled away after that. It's got to be ecstatic about the fact of not dropping any points, equaled with Robert Lambert from Great Britain.
Lambert and Smektala both with 9 points on the night so far. There is Smektala in the pits talking with Dominik Kubera, teammates of course at Leszno, who have their rearranged final tomorrow in the Polish Extra League. And that of course was called off last week up against Gorzów. So having a chat there about that particular race, and Smektala makes his way back in. So Lambert and Smektala 9 points apiece, Leaga on 8, Kubera on 7, Schmel, Drabik and Jakobsen all on 6 from 3 rides so far this evening. And in the standings, the series overall, Maxim Drabik on 47 points, Bartosz Smektala on 44, Robert Lambert 39, Dominik Kubera 32. So in that race for certainly for third place, Robert Lambert again still has control over Dominik Kubera, 7 points in front of him at this stage. He is still 5 behind Smektala and 8 off the lead overall. So whether he'll be able to go any further, we'll have to wait and see. A lot can change in the semi-final. If someone runs a last place in the semi-final and somebody else goes through, then that's potentially a 6-point swing. So basically keep it within 6, anything can happen.
Wow, good analysis there. Yeah, you're right. The riders in those top 3 will all be believing that they can better themselves. All right, Drabik's got to finish the deal. 3 points ahead of Smektala, but Smektala is just riding brilliantly at the moment. So I'm sure Drabik will be looking at the fact, but you can't let those first 2 races of Maxime Drabik's pull you down. Just keep focused, as he did. Went out and won his last heat. So he's riding on a plus at the moment. At least he started off with a 1 point, 2 points, and got his 3 points, first race win on his 3rd outing. So if he can continue to do that, he's got to believe that's what it's going to take to become world champion 2 times in a row.
Drabik holds that 3-point lead. He'll be out in heat 13. Interestingly, there's no track work going on at all. There's no grading, and there's certainly no watering because there's still a bit of rain coming down. So they won't be watering in this particular break. But at the moment, there's no track work going on at all. So they must be happy with it, as it currently is. Drabic is out in heat 13. He'll be going in blue in that race. His opponents are Mikel, who's yet to score, Kermis and Robert Schimel. So Schimel's perhaps the only one who you would expect to offer any sort of a threat to Drabic in that one. And Smektala has to wait for heat 15, where he goes out in white again, having just won in white, the only man to do so.
Yep.
And this time he'll be up against Hansen, Kaczmarek and Spiller in heat 15.
You would say that that's probably an easier race, at least on tonight's performance so far. Not big scores in that.
Hansen could offer a threat from the inside, having just won his last ride.
Sure.
But so you wouldn't expect on what we've seen Kaczmarek or Spiller to offer Smektala too much. So,
and if the rain stays away, that heat 15 is a couple of races after any track grading that possibly could be, which is being absent from this period. With normally between 12 and 13 there would be. And you've highlighted the fact that there's no track grading going on, and we can see that from the pictures. There's absolutely none going on. Plenty of water on the racetrack, so there's no need for any of that. But whether or not they think that the vehicles that are pulling around whatever tools to help them grade the track might kind of do something to the racetrack, and that's why they're not doing it, eludes me. But the fact of it is normally there always is some kind of grading going on.
Rain ending in 7 minutes, according to the accurate weather forecast. We'll see. I don't think it's quite as much as it was, in all honesty. You can see the obvious thing is to look at the floodlight, and you just see a few spots coming down. It's not drastically affected the track, has it? It's just perhaps given a few riders a bit to think about, but it's not really ever got tricky.
No, I would agree with that. They're not getting out of control. Is what we probably wanted to focus on, the fact that they're in control still, and that's a bonus. And when it does get to the point to where they can't, it's impeding their sight by dirt flying up or the water getting in front of their lenses where they can't really see what they want to be seeing. That's a problem, but it looks like nobody's really been worried about that so far, at least from the actions that we're seeing. So
no track grade at all after heat 12. It's just the usual break that you have after 4 heats. Obviously there's always a rider that's going to have 2 rides on the trot after heat 12. It's also the time that the various TV companies take their commercial breaks every 4 heats. So that's what that gap was, and it will be heat 13 next up. Patrick McCann, in fact, is the rider who's got 2 on the trot. He's the rider in red, yet to score so far, so not going to be a factor in the meeting overall. Maxim Drabic certainly is. There is Mikel in red. Maxim Drabic will be in blue. Davis Kermis will be in white. And Robert Schimel having by far his best meeting of the series so far, with 6 points at this stage, 6 from 3 rides. He goes in yellow. We have seen that it's possible to make the start from the outside gate. A couple of early winners from that slot, so we'll see what Schimel can do from there. But Drabic currently holds that 3-point series lead at this stage. Maybe he'd been hoping in his wildest dreams he'd be approaching the time to clinch the title. That's not going to happen just quite yet, but he steadied things with his previous race win. Now we'll try and do the same again here in heat 13. Mikel off the inside, Drabic off gate 2, Kermis off gate 3, and Schimel off the outside. Heat 13 gets underway, and Drabic goes straight for the inside in blue. He's got the gate over Patrick Mikel easily enough. And coming around the outside is Robert Schimel, but I think Drabic's got the speed, although Robert Schimel into the third bend is going to try the wide line to go right round him. Now he's going wider and wider, Robert Schimel here. Drabic picks the inside and then comes out mid-track. Still having a race on here with Schimel outside. Schimel's got speed, going wider off bend 2. Drabic holding a defensive inside line. Robert Schimel's gone round him here. Maxim Drabic trying to come back on the inside, but Robert Schimel has kept it round the outside. He comes off bend 4, and it will be Robert Schimel in front.
Yeah, I remember me highlighting the fact that this racetrack, you can move right out some big lines. Now Drabic realizes he's got to be out in that big line as well. It's just something that you got to learn. This wide racetrack, 391 meters, offers this kind of a racing line during this part of the race meeting. So there you go, maybe one overlooked by Drabic.
Well, we're seeing 2 riders with 2 completely different approaches as to how to race this heat 13, and so far Robert Schimel has got the right way of doing it. It took him a couple of laps to get the deal sealed, but he's done so. He's taken a further point there off Drabic. Schimel winning heat 13 over Drabic, and the third place is Davis Kermis over Patrick Mikel. So this title race continues to to boil along here because Maxim Drabic, not having things his own way by any stretch of the imagination, drops a couple there, and that's a really good ride by Robert Schimmel, winning heat 13 to get the 3 points. Maxim Drabic in second and Davis Kermis in third.
Yeah, you know, the racing lines and the options that the rider's going to have when the tapes go up, you got to read it perfectly if you possibly can. And Robert Schimmel from that outside knew that there's a big line on the outside. Stay out of trouble, concentrate on. He's looking left all the time just to see what Maxime Drabic's going to be doing. Here he is approaching that first corner. The bike launches him in position as he comes out of the box, gets himself tidy right up the high line. The bike is pulling the whole way. We know that the conditions are a little bit tricky. We've had a little bit of rain on it for the last, what did we say, like 12 minutes or so. And they put water down on it just before that 12-minute shower. It's been light, to say the least, but here we go. Drabic misread the racetrack, stuck on the inside line for 2 laps just about, as Robert Schimmel got himself into position. Drabic then decides to go up and kiss that dirt a little bit, but the job was done already by the rider with number 12 on his back, Robert Schimmel. Nice job, read the conditions perfect.
Really good ride by Robert Schimmel there in heat 13. Drabic is 5 points in front of Smektala in the series. Smektala has a race in hand. That comes up in heat 15 when he'll be going in white up against Hansen, Kaczmarek and Spiller. Before that, Robert Lambert in white in heat 14. He is unbeaten. 3 rides, 3 wins, 9 points, and he goes up against, well, there's one man, he's up against Philip Hayek in yellow, who realistically shouldn't threaten Robert Lambert in this race. The one who may well do is Andreas Leaga, who goes in blue. We saw him make a poor start from the inside in his previous ride, but Leaga with 8 only dropped 1 point so far. Nick Scoyer in red off the inside. Andreas Leaga in blue off gate 2, Robert Lambert in white off gate 3, and Philip Hayek goes in yellow off the outside. Can Lambert make it 4 out of 4 here in Pardubice tonight as the green light comes on from Christina Turnbull? Away they go, and Lambert has made a good start, but he can't have to work for it on the first bend because it's Nick Scoyer getting the advantage. Leaga is there too. Lambert goes wide now. We've seen that line is there in the previous race, and Lambert will put plenty of speed on and hit bend 3 in front. Robert Lambert race leads, and now Andreas Leaga trying to follow him through. It's still Lambert from Scoyer, who's still very much in the equation on the inside, but we have seen that outside line is a bit better, and that's now being shown by Andreas Leaga, who's also gone round Nick Scoyer.
Oh yeah, nice reading of the racetrack, Mr. Lambert, there to be able to not panic, let the bike help you along, but just put it in the right place, and that's on the high line, and it pulled him around into a comfortable position now, I would say.
Lambert's riding really well here tonight. If he wins this, it'll be 12 out of 12, but of course he could, although he's unlikely to get into top 2 contention overall, he could certainly affect that race for the top 2, depending on who he beats in those closing stages, the likes of Drabic and Smektala. So he's going to have a big say in what happens, no question about that, and he should be on the podium overall in at least 3rd place. Lambert race leads ahead of Andreas Leaga into bend 3 and 4 for the final time, and it will be 4 rides and 4 wins for Great Britain's Robert Lambert here in round 3 in the Czech Republic. Lambert wins heat 14 from Andreas Leaga, and it's Nick Scoyer in 3rd after threatening early on and having the lead in the early stages, but Lambert wins again and moves on to 12 points from his 4 outings. Lambert wins heat 14, Leaga in 2nd place, Nick Scoyer in 3rd, and Robert Lambert going really well tonight.
Very good job. You know, you gotta be in it to win it, and coming from gate 3, that will be back-to-back. I would say that 2 race wins come from gate 3, mainly because of the skill of the riders, for sure. Robert Lambert made the start quite easily over the rest of the riders. Coming into turns 2, he just let the bike drift up into that dirt. You can see right here, 505 on his back. That's Great Britain's Robert Lambert making the nice gate from gate number 3 into the first corner, let the bike drift up in the high line. As he gets his bike's wheels in line down the back straightaway, pulls himself in. The rest of the buddies battle for it, and that's Andreas Leaga that comes into 2nd position. And he, again, chasing the outside line, looking for a little bit extra grip, but Robert Lambert's already in it and pulled away from that point on.
Lambert tops the score chart with 12 points. Andreas Leaga has 10 from 4 on the night. Bartosz Smektala is next up in heat 15, and he can go level with Lambert, and he can also, perhaps more importantly from his point of view overall, he can move to within 2 of Maxim Drabic in the series. Drabic on 49, Smektala on 44, and there is Bartosz Smektala again in that white helmet colour in this heat 15 up against Patrick Hansen, Daniel Kaczmarek and Daniel Spiller. So as we said before, it would appear that Patrick Hansen is the most likely challenger here for Bartosz Smektala. Hansen won his last ride, goes in red here, but Smektala will be encouraged, I'm sure, by what he's seen in the previous couple of races, that now, even if you don't make the start from an outside gate, there is a line that will take you around there.
And you want to rely on that line. That's what racing is all about. Whoever gets to the fastest racing line first has the best opportunity of getting in front. And if you're behind, that's the place you want to be. Chase down that best place to be on the racetrack.
Smektala coming into line in white after his trademark signal prior to the start of the race. Hansen, Kaczmarek, Smektala and Spiller for a big heat 15 here. Away they go, and Smektala in white's made a decent start there, and he gets the bend in front. That's a great effort there by Bartosz Smektala to get in front of Patrick Hansen into the first bend, and this will be more straightforward, you would think, in that white helmet cover than some of the previous races have been. He's moved out wide. You can see that they're changing lines now. They're seeing there's more to play with, and Smektala leads on to lap 2 ahead of Patrick Hansen. It's Daniel Kaczmarek in third place. If things stay as they are, the series lead of Drabik, we're down to just 2 points.
I like the way you say they're playing with it, because the racetrack's coming to some of the races is what we're seeing here. And Bartosz Smektala, what a start he made in that gate 3. The front wheel lifted all the way to the first corner, putting himself in the best position, and he's starting to pull away from the other 3.
I think we could see some big battles in the closing stages between some of the big guns here before this championship is won, because Bartosz Smektala is 1 lap away from matching Robert Lambert. There's a stoppage there for Kaczmarek off the 4th turn, but Daniel Spiller avoided him, moves through into 3rd place. Smektala is safe and clear ahead of Patrick Hansen on the final lap, and he's going to match Lambert, as I say, and go on to 12 out of 12 and crucially close that gap once again on Maxim Drabik as Smektala wins heat 15 ahead of Hansen, and Spiller comes home in 3rd, and it's a retirement for Kaczmarek, who has left the bike parked on the centre green and is not having any kind of a night for him so far this evening. But that man certainly is Bartosz Smektala. 4 rides, 4 wins, 12 points. Pressure on big time in the series overall. Smektala over Hansen with Spiller in 3rd place.
Yeah, job well done. You know, when the pressure's on and you've got to start thinking about sometimes engine failures play their parts, and we can see right there that that hurt him pretty bad. He was pretty upset with that one, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Hey, it's nice to see that the riders, when they're focused on the job in hand, just attacking it. Bartosz Smektala, that bike just pulled him into the first corner, and he just went straight to the inside. Then at this point, he let the bike just drift straight away into the dirt going into turn 3, and as he hit that, he just pulled away. But a picture-perfect start there from Bartosz Smektala, keeping the pressure on Maxim Drabik, no doubt. He means business, really controlling this heat number 15 to the point to where he knew exactly where he wanted to be on the track and let the rest of the boys tend with what was left.
Smektala moves on to 47 there, the stoppage for Kaczmarek, but Smektala moves on to 47 in the series. Drabik has 49, Lambert has 42. These are extraordinarily high scores, by the way. Drabik won the series last year on 49. That's what he's currently got. I'll say he won it on 49 last year, and that was a record.
Wow.
So it just shows the standard that some of these boys are achieving. He's now got 49, and he's nowhere near safe this year.
No, and it's all being scored by the top 4, isn't it? Because they're 10 points adrift from 4th to 5th. So just goes to show you who's dominate this this event so far.
Heat 16 is next up. There's Fredrik Jakobsen riding in red. Jankovic goes in blue. Gleb Chuganov in white. Dominic Kibera goes in yellow. Still, Kibera's rather lost ground in the race for top 3. Not really because he's riding badly. He scored 7 points from 3 rides. It's because Lambert's riding so well with 12 from 4. So Kibera off the outside in yellow really needs something here in heat 16 if he's going to have a glimmer of hope as we get ready for heat number 16. Jakobsen, Quebec, Chuganov and Noel. Jakobsen definitely moved, and the red lights have come on. The red lights have come on.
Why is he turning around?
Well, we've got Jankovic has turned round.
Yeah, we don't do that.
That's very bizarre.
Yeah, you don't do that. And if he did do that, the referee could penalize him big time for that.
Now, bizarrely, Quebec is gardening on gate 1.
I think he just...
Well, Jakobsen touched the tapes. So, but what is going on with Jankovic there in blue? Rider in red is the one who's moved and has touched the tapes. Quebec...
I think he's confused.
Well, I'm confused because something's happened there. The rider in blue hardly moves, then stops. But for some reason, Quebec is frantically preparing gate 1, even though he's just come off gate 2. Jakobsen's excluded. That's a huge blow to him in terms of making the semi-finals tonight.
Yeah, I think he's confused where he just come from. He's definitely in gate 2.
He turned around straight away after the red light came on.
And that's something you don't do. I guess when the red light does come on, the referee then has got to relax the point that he turned around on the racetrack. Which
the race was stopped, I suppose. It's a bit peculiar, but it's not going to look great. The fact that he's spent a good minute or so preparing gate 1.
Okay, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. He forgot, because that's pretty embarrassing.
Well, someone needs to tell him it has to be second.
Yeah,
there is the man in blue.
The starting marshal will definitely move him over to gate 2.
We're awaiting. We're awaiting the reserve coming in, which should be.
Well, you know what? The starting marshal's not even now. He's recognized it just now.
Sergeant Marshal going across to him and saying, "You should be in gate 2."
He's just. Well, we don't see this in the pictures, but we're seeing.
There we go. There he is.
Yeah.
So that's extraordinary.
Well, it's all prepared for the guy that comes in from.
He certainly is. Yeah. There's going to be Schulpak, who is the only remaining reserve, because Patrick McKell moved up. So he will be riding in the red helmet colour. Patrick McKell already moved up late on because of the withdrawal of Joel Kling. So Schlupak is the reserve and gets a big call-up in rather extraordinary circumstances. Frederick Jacobsen touching the tapes, which is a big setback to him in terms of making the top 8 on the night. Leaves him with 6 points from 4 rides. Jankovic is now gardening on gate 2 in a similar fashion, which he should have been doing in the first place. It's Chugunov in white, and Dominic Kibera could be the big winner here. He's in yellow off the outside, and the race has been made maybe slightly more straightforward. We shall see. Restart of heat 16, away they go, and Earth off the outside in yellow. It's a nice start by Kibera. Couldn't quite make it all the way across there, so had to go for the wide line once again. It's the reserve for Schlupak, who almost leads, but around the outside goes Kibera, and Chugunov tries to follow him through and does around the outside, around turns 3 and 4, and it's a really wide line by the rider in blue, Jankovic, who goes out of line completely off the 4th turn and is well adrift. Race on up front with Dominic Kibera out in front. Gleb Chugunov chasing hard here. Yeah,
Kibera's really letting the dirt on the racetrack pull him and keep himself just over the top of Shaganov. Right underneath him now. Shaganov left too much room there, and he realizes it. Whether he stays in the high line now, Kibera will be the answer down this back straightaway. He's going to have to do one or the other, either tight or let it roll. He stays in mid-track, holding it down as tight as he possibly can to. Chugunov knows that. Look, he's coming right up the inside of him now, and he's going to get him.
What a move by Chugunov. Told it so tight around turn 3 and 4, and now that's forcing Kibera to try and go really wide to try and regain ground on the final lap. Chugunov leads into those 3 and 4 for the final time. He'll hold it tight, but Kibera is trying to come with speed round the outside. Fights the finish line. It's Gleb Chugunov who wins it over Dominic Kibera, with in 3rd place the reserve Schlupak over Jankovic. Great ride by Chugunov there. They were tight off bend 4 a couple of times before he got the job done, and then made it through into bend 1, lap 4, and held off the return challenge of Dominic Kibera. And Gleb Chugunov, who's a big talent in the world of Speedway, hit by injury this year, but showing that talent there in heat 16. Chugunov the winner, Kibera 2nd, and Schlupak was 3rd.
That was an interesting result there. You can just see the fact that Kibera thought that he had this one done. He hit his bike off of gate 4, got him into the corner, but then kept pulling him too far. I would say he was thinking he wanted to get over the top more and shut the deal down coming through the first turn, but he resorted to being into the outside, and he decided to stay dedicated to the outside in the dirt and looked like he was going to check out from that point right there and just keep going. But Chugunov had his own mission, kept it up on the inside once he got into that 2nd position. He just kept it down low the whole time. He was just putting the pressure on Kibera, and as he was doing that, Kibera didn't know really which way to go. He just got a bit of a shunk right there, and that was just enough for him to get himself into position. And Chugunov done a great job, forced himself into front and hold that inside line where he's been riding the whole race, and had that side dialed in.
That's what I like about Speedway riders. There is Gleb Chugunov there, back in the pits. He had a badly broken leg earlier in the season, and they just get, I mean, you've done it yourself, Sam, you just get straight back on, don't you? And I suppose you forget about it, and that's the only way to be. But straight in, big hard race, legs out everywhere, battling your way through, and that's what he did.
Yeah, every rider's a little bit different, but when you know that you believe in yourself and you got enough strength to ride, even though you might be carrying an injury, the injury might not be affecting your strength on the bike. You just got to avoid any kind of collisions or any bangs to where you can actually you know, irritated again. But still a big effort for him to be able to go out there and continue where he would have loved to have never been, and that's the sideline.
So we've had 16 races. We've absolutely rattled through them, it has to be said. The rain has stopped, bang on cue, so that's good. And we've got one more qualifying race to come for all the riders, and then the top 8 into the semis, and crucial points to carry throughout the meeting. Here's how things stand with Lambert and Smektala on the night, both unbeaten. So they are going to meet in heat 17, with Smektala going in yellow and Lambert going in blue. And by the way, Schimmel and Kubera in that race as well. So that's a heck of a race there, heat 17 on the way next. But Lambert and Smektala both on 12. Lyaga has 10. Schimmel and Kubera have 9 apiece. Drabic currently in 6th place on the night on 8. And Drabic's first mission has got to be to make sure he finishes in the top 8 on the night. Should do so, and certainly the Jakobsen exclusion in the previous race, that will help him. But has to get that job done, most importantly himself, Maxim Drabic, who goes out in heat 19, where his main rival is Andreas Lyaga in that race. Lyaga with 10 points. Overall in the series, Drabic has 49 points, Smektala has 47, Lambert has 42, and Kubera has 34. So I don't know about you, Sam. I thought that Drabic may be going to seal it by race 4, race 5 tonight. And that's not the situation. He's really going to have to sweat on this one for some while yet.
He's just going to have to keep focused then to make sure that his whoever is managing the numbers in his camp can keep him relaxed enough to know that, you know, no more mistakes now. You got to go out there and just, you know, ride within your ability, which we know he's capable of doing. It just can't, whether it's the pressure or what. I think it was the draw at the beginning.
The draw has worked, I think, in Smektala's favour.
Yeah.
And there was one race earlier where Smektala looked like he had a tough one, and the rider, I think it was Lyaga, I seem to recall, made a particularly bad start when it looked like he might have the advantage. But you can't argue with 4 rides and 4 wins, nor as you can with Lambert. They've been the best 2 so far.
Yep, for sure. There's no doubt about it that the formula or your race positioning on the format that you get drawn will affect your ability to go out there and perform depending on where other riders are. And you got to deal with it. It's just part of the system. So to be a true champion, all those things that are against you, and how you deal with them is how you know that you got the ability to be world champion. So when you lose focus or lose sight on what job's in hand, it can spoil your whole finish. And right now the pressure's even on him more now with only a 2-point lead.
We've actually got a firework display going on just off the. You can't quite see it on your screen there, but just off the second pen, there's actually fireworks being let off. So I'm not quite sure where they're coming from, but anyway, or who's doing it, more to the point. But anyway, that's the scene here in Pardubice. So we're watching from basically bang above the start-finish line. So you can see the white window buildings just on the left of your screen. We are just in those boxes, watching the action here in Pardubice. And watching it head to a very dramatic conclusion, it must be said, with Smektala putting more and more pressure on Maxim Drabic as this event goes on, and there's just 2 points in it in the standings. They've all got one programme ride to come. Smektala is safely through to the semi-finals on the night, no doubt about that, but he'll need to keep racking the points up, and heat 17, with the riders coming on the track now for that one, is a big one. Robert Schimmel in red, and he's gone well so far, 9 points. The unbeaten Lambert in blue, 12. Kubera in white on 9. Smektala unbeaten, 12 off the outside. Big race.
And no track rating at all. And it looks like there's no drizzle whatsoever. Would you confirm that? Yeah, it looks clear. So there's nothing really to affect the riders. So we will assume that most of the riders here will want to make the start and go either 1 or 2 places, really, right on the inside or straight to what we would call the high line. And that's getting that bike deep into the dirt. And how deep, we'll know after this race, I'm sure, because there's 2 or 3 riders in here that will all be gunning for the fastest race line, and that either will be on the outside or the shortest way around the racetrack right up on the inside.
Remember, if Smektala wins this race from the outside gate there in yellow, he will take the lead in the series overall, albeit I think we'll still have one more race to come in the qualifiers. But another little psychological moment there if that happens, but he'll have to really race to do it. Schmel in red off the inside. Lambert is unbeaten in blue off gate 2. Kubera in white off gate 3. And Smektala is unbeaten in yellow off the outside. A real crunch heat 17 here as we get towards the critical stage of this under-21 decider. Away they go. Very even from the start. Smektala made quite a good one from the outside. He made a great one from the outside. Bartosz Smektala has made the start from the outside gate and he leads heat 17. Robert Schmel in second. Lambert working hard here against Kubera. Lambert on the inside in blue, taking Kubera wide. They battled strongly in the previous round, and Kubera's gone round him. Kubera comes back into third place. Bartosz Smektala, they're out in front. A really tough heat 17, a tough place to start from, and Smektala made it.
In that race, it was all about the start, and Smektala proved that he was the best rider in heat 17 to get himself into the first turn. Robert Lambert's probably the biggest loser, coming out of gate number 2, got all sandwiched up in the middle of probably the second lap, and it's just spoiled his whole round. Now he's going to lose big points.
Lambert needs to get through inside Kubera here, and he does. That's crucial for the race for third overall. Gets inside him, and that makes things much easier for him if he can hang on. It's Bartosz Smektala leading. Still a scuff going on for third place with Dominic Kubera and Robert Lambert. Lambert's got speed around the outside to come back around once again, but Kubera on the inside. They're neck and neck once again. Lambert gets into event 3 in third place, but Bartosz Smektala will score a 15-point maximum here in the qualifiers. He wins it. Lambert does get third place. That's crucial. Lambert gets third. Schmel in second, and Bartosz Smektala keeps on winning. Smektala 5 out of 5, and he is now the series leader. Although Drabic has one ride in hand, it could go right down to the wire here in Pardubice, and Smektala wins heat 17. Schmel in second, and Lambert in third.
I think we're counting on it going down to the last minute. That was an excellent race. Bartosz Smektala, he was loaded. That right there, the pressure was on him. Heat 17, brewed that one up perfectly. Robert Lambert was wanting to get out of gate number 2 to keep his unbeaten record as Bartosz Smektala, but it was Bartosz Smektala that made it from the outside. Beautiful start. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's the way you can make a start in a championship when the pressure's on you. Just get into that first corner, hit the fastest place on the racetrack, let your skill prevail, and he sure did that in style. Heat 17, what a result. Bartosz Smektala, real impressive. Robert Lambert had a bit of a battle of his own going on in the back here, trying to keep Kubera honest the whole way around there. Robert Lambert went to the outside, to the inside. He's on the inside right now. Pushed Kubera as hard as he possibly could to. Lost his position. He resorted to the outside line, and now it's his time to have some fun or play, as Dave said earlier on. It's all about getting out there and using that track, and Robert Lambert sealed the deal. He got that third place, and as you said, how critical will that be? Well, at the moment it is.
It is, because Kubera's last place there means Lambert is assured of a medal overall. Kubera is now needed more than third there, and he finished at the back, and Kubera is 9 behind Lambert and can only score 6 more if he wins his semi in his final. So Lambert is going to be a medalist. Could still finish second if Drabic has a nightmare in the closing stages. More likely to be third overall. Heat 18 with Jakobsen in red off the inside, Nick Skoya in blue, Patrick McKell in white, Patrick Hansen goes in yellow. This is Heat 18, bit of movement from Skoya with the opponent himself. The race goes on. Jakobsen in red gets the advantage. Well, mind you, Nick Skoya came charging through on the inside there in blue and makes it through into second place. Hansen in yellow will try and hit back into bend 3. It's going to get tight there with Patrick McKell also in the equation round turns 3 and 4 as the lines get wider and wider, and as they do that, Nick Skoya tries the inside and looks to move inside Frederick Jakobsen there, and Nick Skoya gets inside Jakobsen, and he race leads. There's all sorts of options to take, and Nick Skoya hits the front. Jakobsen comes back at him.
Oh, this is such good racing right now. There's big lines out there. Now you've got a chance of Hansen coming
now Patrick Hansen.
Yeah, right up the inside as well.
Patrick Hansen goes from third to first. What a race here this is. Nick Skoya is sent out wide. Jakobsen turns back in red. Jakobsen back into second. Skoya will try and go back round him, and there's more and more lines to work from here as Skoya is set so wide off the fourth bend, and it's still Patrick Hansen out in front on the last lap with Frederick Jakobsen in second. It looks like they've seen off Nick Skoya for the time being, and Patrick McKell out the back, but Patrick Hansen are going from third to first to make it through, and this will give him 9 points. A very useful win indeed for him as he takes heat number 18. Patrick Hansen over Frederick Jakobsen, Nick Skoya in third. Wow, what a race those 3 gave us there for a couple of laps, and Patrick Hansen moves on to 9, and it's his second race win. So useful points there, useful result for him, and a really well-ridden race as well by Patrick Hansen, winning heat 18. Jakobsen second, Skoya in third, and the racetrack certainly developing well here.
Yeah, this heat number 18, actually, these riders were spoiled for choices, weren't they? There was racing lines all over the place. Jakobsen on the inside in the red tried to get in the first corner first, and he did do that. He then let the bike drift up there, left the door open for the guys to sneakily trying to think that they can come underneath them, so they bunch up underneath them, and Skoya was trying to get to that inside line, and he did. He got down there. Look at the battle right there where Milik getting pushed wide straight away going into turn 3. Here's the back of Milik getting into that first corner. Didn't make the best of starts. Would love to have been up there a bit more to be able to have a chance with there. Jakobsen in front, down the back straightaway. And really good to see right there. Skoya comes into the outside, gets into the action right there. Hansen then has the opportunity to sneak in front, and he never really looked back after that. He just sealed the deal to make sure he dominated the racing line once he got himself in front here and let the rest of the boys. And this is how he did it. Hansen right up in the inside as Jakobsen was chasing that outside line. They just fooled the riders, didn't they? They think that they can go the
outside. They don't know where to go.
Yeah, you don't know where to go, and that's where you just have the ability, or the setup, I should say, with the bike. You either go really wide. Sometimes that's risking your starting ability to get in the first corner because you got to gear the bike a little bit different, or setup has to be that little bit different. But these guys now know the racetrack is big and there's plenty of lines out there, so the quality riders, we're getting down to that right now because look how many points are, what is it, between the top 3? There's only, what, 3/4? Yeah.
On the night, we've got Smektala on 15, Lambert on 13, Schimmel with 11, Larga a race to come on 10. But this heat 19 is vital for Drabik in blue. He's 1 point behind Smektala. So Kaczmarek is in red, Drabik is in blue, Larga is in white on 10 so far, so riding really well, and Kvek is in yellow. Blue and white are the two ones to watch out for here, and Drabik is going to try and put himself back into the overall series lead with a fast start in blue, but Daniel Kaczmarek has made the start. Daniel Kaczmarek has sent Maxim Drabik out wide, and the champion in a real spot here trying to shoot through the gap. It's Jan Kvek somehow who leads, and Drabik has worked his way through there. That could be a crucial move by Maxim Drabik, who hasn't quite got it done yet, because Jan Kvek out of nowhere is winning this one, and they're all stacking up behind. Drabik still on the outside trying to make his way around him, and this time he's done so.
Yeah, and he's being bullied somewhat, I would say. Kvek has really put him under immense pressure right there, but Drabik has pulled it off. He's out back in front now, doing a perfect position to make sure he stays there. He's got to do it now, finish it off.
Drabik over Kvek, and it's Larga in third, picking up lift and drive off the second bend. Daniel Kaczmarek and Medical Stop is now Larga shooting from the inside. There wasn't much room there, but it's a very powerful move, a brutal move indeed by Andreas Larga to move past Jan Kvek into second place. I don't think he's got time here to catch Maxim Drabik, who raced late after a really tough race. He's going to get back into the lead of the series, but there's still big semis and final to come as Maxim Drabik comes round to win heat number 19. More great action, and Drabik wins it. Second Larga, third Jan Kvek, who was a real wild card there in more ways than one as he comes through in third in the end. But Drabik gets a race victory, his second of the meeting. He's back in front in the series. He's 2 points in front of Smektala, and they've got potentially 2 races apiece to come. Drabik, Larga, Kvek, the result of a frantic heat 19.
Wow, frantic to say the least. The racing lines are just appearing everywhere, aren't they? And if you get a good rider out there, which we know the pressure that was on Maxim Drabik, the current world champion, knew he had to make the start. He thought he would get in the first corner first, but Kaczmarek gets in there and spoils it a little bit, pushes it a little bit wide, then opens up the door for Kevich to get in there. Kevich now throws the wheels on Drabik. Drabik then has to work even extremely hard by the time he got into turns 3 and 4 and where he had to be. But here's another picture of the start right there. Kaczmarek gets himself into position in front first, but then Drabik comes back underneath there, but the door's wide open for Kevich to get him in there, and he does exactly what you have to do. You got to get in there and take it. Drabik then has to work twice as hard to get around him and then finish the race off by staying up the high line, and that's what he needed to do. Those 3 points are critical.
And that was the move there by Larga to go second and move on to 12 points in the meeting. So he gets double figures comfortably, and so Smektala 15, Lambert 13, Larga 12, Schimmel 11, Drabik 11, Hansen 9, Kubera 9, Freddie Jakobsen on 8, and Gleb Chuganov goes in heat 20 in yellow. He's currently on 7, so Chuganov, if he gets a decent result here, Chuganov a third place here. With the fact he's got a race win, a third place for Chuganov would put him above Fredrik Jakobsen into the top 8. So that's what he's looking for here. Spiller Kermis and Hayek, they cannot go through. So here it's all about Chugunov here in yellow. Needs a point to take Jakobsen out of the top 8 on the night.
You would think he would get it, especially coming from that outside gate. Yeah, but look, he's starting in the middle of the outside, Chugunov is, and probably, I don't know if that's the perfect place to be to get to launch yourself in the first corner, but time will tell.
Right in yellow, Gleb Chugunov needing a point here to make the top 8 on the night. Away they go. Davis Kermis and Daniel Spiller contest the first bend. Spiller gets the advantage round the outside. He's trying to come. Chugunov, meanwhile, Kermis pegged the inside to hit the front, and now Chugunov becomes the third race leader of the race as he hits the front into the third bend. And Chugunov here race leads over Kermis with Spiller in third place over Hayek. And Chugunov doing exactly what he wanted to do, only in fact needed 1 point from the race. If he gets 3, then it'll be a preferable gate pick. It'll be a higher overall score, and then Chugunov does lead heat 20.
I would say Chugunov did a superb job. Just let that thing run around the first corner, and he just snuck himself in front by the time he got down the back straightaway. And now he's pulling the race for the rest of the guys.
Race on for third place between Daniel. What on earth has he done there? Gleb Chugunov. Reds have come straight on.
Whether the bike failed or...
Well, that's absolutely extraordinary. And that's a big reprieve for Fredrik Jakobsen.
Oh, no.
Gleb Chugunov.
Yeah, chain's off.
Chain's gone.
Chain's off. Lost his chain. Mechanical failure. It has to be. He looks so smooth and so comfortable.
Well, here we go. Rider in yellow. Look how far in front he is.
Just going in the corner, and all of a sudden, the bike just stops.
There you go.
There, yep, chain just pushed it off. Put him right on the ground. Luckily, it was in front, enough in front to where he had no riders close enough to him, because we do know he's riding freshly coming back from a broken leg. So wouldn't want to have anything happen. See all the smoke and glare, whether it was a chain or it looked like
a major blow up that's taking the chain off, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Let's hope he's okay. As I say, we know he's coming back from a leg injury, so you don't want to find yourself on the deck like that. And he did get up, but now it's just has gone down again. So let's hope that Gleb's going to be okay. I think he's going to be helped to his feet again now, and walk back in and hopefully get a big hand from the crowd, because he's shown us what he can bring, and hopefully a fully fit Gleb Chugunov can play a part in this series next year. It would be good to see, but I think he's going to get a bit of assistance on the way back. No, doesn't want it, I don't think.
I think he's just kind of letting them know that, I'm walking with a bit of an injury, so it's going to take my time to get back there. It'd be nice if he could, but see, these doctors and stuff probably don't realize the fact that he has recently had a bad injury, and that's probably why he's limping. They think maybe...
Yeah, they think he's done it on that particular incident.
Assume something happened then.
So they're having a look, and
the chain's definitely off.
Yeah, it's just whether it just got knocked off because there was some big explosion around it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, because they're having quite I would have thought if it was just a chain, they wouldn't need that much observation, would they?
Yeah. Well, it's probably all crammed in there right now to where they can't do
damage.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not going to get him back on the racetrack, is it?
Well, you won't need to, unfortunately, because he's outside the top 8. But what a time for it to happen! Goodness me, he's so far in front.
Well, that's the first stoppage of the night, isn't it?
We had a tape breaking, but nothing, no incidents. We've seen some very close racing, and they've kept it clean, and that's just very unfortunate. And the crowd are getting a great reception, and there's the look at that, look at it all locked up now.
Yeah.
So how on earth are you going to move that? Going to have to probably wiggle it in on the front wheel. Yeah,
the chain's just bound between the frame and the wheel, so it's not giving it a chance of trying to pull it out there.
You're going to take the wheel off?
Well, you know what it is the push bar. Sorry, the push bar.
Yeah.
The push bar that holds the back mud guard is gone all the way through the frame, and it's stopping the back wheel from moving. Not so much if the chain did come off and then broke the mud guard and pulled the back in. But that's what's happened is the actual bar of the back fender guard is just crammed in there.
Well, I really feel for him there in that particular incident. We are awaiting any word on the rerun. There will be a rerun, I'm sure. The yellow disqualification light is shining to indicate that Chugunov is out of the race. But I'm sure we're going to get a rerun. And it looked like all the action was over a battle for third place at the time, which was some way behind, only for that to happen somewhere in front. But they're still having trouble moving that bike at the moment. You can see the rear wheel is completely locked up. But what it's going to mean is it puts Fredrik Jakobsen into the semi-final. That sorts out our top 8 on the night. And what it should mean that Smektala and Drabic go in separate semi-finals. That's the way it looks like the top 8 are shaking out. Smektala is the meeting leader on 15 points at a maximum. Drabic is currently equal 4th with Robert Schimmel on 11, but he's going to be in semi-final 2, it would appear, as Gleb Chugunov makes his way back in. So we should. I don't know whether they want to get that bike moved before they let the riders go, because just looking down towards the pits, I'm just trying to see if there are riders lined up, ready to go. I think they're at the top of the ramp actually, Sam, and whether they're asking for that bike to be cleared, certainly away from that particular part of the track, because that's quite very near the inside curb.
Yeah. Well, they've got it to move now, so they actually used the chain that came off the bike to actually pull and lunge something out of the way, and now the bike's free enough for them to push it off the racetrack.
So we're going to go again. There are the riders at the top of the ramp, and they're going to go again for a bit of pride here, because these are 3 who aren't going to make the semi-finals. That's all been sorted out, and we reckon that the semi-final 1 will be Smektala, Schimmel, Hansen and Kubera, and semi-final 2 will be Lambert, Lejager, Drabic and Jakobsen. That looks like a bit of a fierce one as well. So and gate picks are going to be interesting, because start to look at the gate stats, and they're now all pretty equal after what we saw at the start of the meeting, and we've seen so many different ways of doing it on the track during the race in the last second half of the meeting. Where do you put yourself at the start?
Well, I think we'll still assume that gate 3 is the bogey gate. The reason that there's some race wins on that.
Good riders.
Yeah, good riders, and maybe not so loaded races when those riders appeared on gate 3. I mean, I seen that there was a highlight where, you know, Smektala made a good one off there. We've seen good riders make it off 3, but not when they have as loaded as the semi-final.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. Yeah. So it may well be that, for example, Smektala will get his first pick, and he may well go inside just to try and control the race, because if you do go outside, you could put yourself in traffic, and you are relying on being able to make that sweep around the outside. But we'll see. I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
They haven't done any track grading for a while now.
No, not since P8, I think.
So yeah, so there, you know, it gives these riders some hard choices maybe where to put the bike, whether you're going to go right up in the dirt and take big lines on this 391 meter Pardubice racetrack, or you're going to stay down low the shortest way around. And when you get to be the quality of the semi-finals, they're all as equally fast, I would say, on the inside or the outside, but you want to get away from the guys and secure the deal as early as you can.
Restart of the P20 to complete the qualifying races. So Spiller, Kermis and Hayek on the start line, and it's Davis Kermis in blue who gets the first bend in front. Daniel Spiller has the second for now over Philip Hayek, and they get close coming off the second bend. Get very close in fact, and Philip Hayek has to get off the gas going down the back straight to avoid running into the back wheel of Daniel Spiller, but it looked like Davis Kermis is going to be the man to dominate this rerun Heat 20 after Gleb Chugunov crashed out due to mechanical failure. The rider in blue, Kermis, making a good start and controls this race. Yeah, he's going to double his score too. He only came into this Heat 20 on 3 points, so these other 3 will give him that 6. And it's really nice to see that at least he's got some fresh air and he can go out there and enjoy the track. Daniel Spiller in second place, one-time Eastbourne Eagles rider, and his younger brother Ethan currently racing for the Eastbourne Eagles in the British National League. He's in second place, and Daniel with Philip Hayek in third, and that looks like the way they're going to stay as they start the last lap. Famous last words. We'll see if anything does change, but Davis Kermis has controlled this one really from making the start in the blue helmet colour. He race leads the back straight for the final time. This one really completes these riders' evenings, and the big battles are still to come here in the Czech Republic this evening. It's a win in Heat 20 for Davis Kermis, and Daniel Spiller hangs on for second place over Philip Hayek, who is in third. So a good result for Davis Kermis, who was awarded a permanent wildcard for this series this year. Started racing on one wheel with a race win out of P20, and Chugunov's frustration and bad luck is good news there for Davis Kermis, winning heat number 20 over Daniel Spiller. Philip Hayek in third place. That completes the qualifiers, and we've got some big semis and a final to come. Replay, pretty easy there. We can say that Davis
Pardubice really made the start, didn't he? No doubt about it, Dave. And he gets himself out in front, and it's pretty much just business as usual right here. There's a little bit of a tussle right there, of a close call, but nothing really to write home about. It's all about just getting out of that start and finish off this heat number 20 and load up the semifinals and let's see what's going to happen. The big build-up for that big final.
That was the prelude. That was the lead-up to the semis, and the semis are going to be, I think, you'll find a much more fiercely fought than we've just seen there.
The track conditions have settled right down, I would say.
It's a good racetrack.
Yeah, it's definitely a good racetrack. There's plenty of options out there for the riders. It's just kind of peculiar that this experienced track creator team are leaving the track alone. They're not doing no grading whatsoever, and for whatever reason, I don't know if it's something to do with time. I wouldn't think so. It's pretty chilly out. You see everybody's on, their anoraks are on, or mine's on, in the commentary booth here.
Well, the track is riding well, so if the riders are happy with it, and
usually the riders don't have a choice on that.
Well, that's true. It just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just happens. So it's interesting to do. But there's some
confirmation there. Smektala 15-point max, Lambert 13, Liaga 12, Schimmel 11, Drabic 11, Hansen 9, Kubera 9, Jakobsen 8. That's how important the mechanical failure for Chugunov in his previous ride was, because that's what left him outside the top 8 on the night. But the key scores overall: Lambert, third place, 43, and that is third place guaranteed overall for Robert Lambert, so it's all about him now trying to win the meeting. But the fight for the gold medal in the FIM Speedway Under-21 World Championship goes on. Maxim Drabic on 52, Bartosz Smektala on 50. Smektala will go in the first semi-final. Bit of pressure on him now, because if Smektala knows he has to make the final, first and foremost. If Smektala misses out in the semi, only scores 0 or 1, that makes Drabic champion by default. So Smektala has to get it right in the semi first.
Default at this stage.
Well, but then if he wins it, of course, then he'll be in front of Drabic, and the pressure is back on Drabic to make sure he gets through.
Well, Smektala knows, I'm sure, what's in front of him to still,
he does.
All these riders here have they all equally have won races throughout the night, so anybody can steal the points, but Smektala has not dropped a point so far, and it's really down to him to lose. So he's going to have to now choose his gate position to see if he can continue his winning streak.
Bartosz Smektala looking to finish on 56 points. But remember that if they both win their semi-final, Drabic would take a 2-point lead into the final and could follow Smektala home in the final and still win. That's why I say it's important sometimes if they were in the same semi-final, Smektala would also take a point off Drabic there.
I get it.
They're in different semis, so Drabic does not have to beat Smektala to become champion necessarily. We'll see. Here comes some picks for the first semi-final, and Bartosz Smektala goes for the outside gate. Yellow helmet colour for Smektala. Robert Schimmel goes for red. Patrick Hansen goes for blue, and that leaves Dominic Kubera in white. More fireworks going off here in the Czech Republic. So from the inside for the semi-final, Schimmel, Hansen, Kubera, and Smektala is lined up for the first semi-final. And that will now get reset, and Robert Lambert will get the first pick for the second semi. So it'll be interesting to see if he takes the same route as Smektala, who went for the outside gate. Plenty of space to work with, of course, on this big wide circuit.
Yeah, well, when you're coming from the gate 4, it can position yourself quite handy in the first corner. If you make as good a start as you need to, just to chase that dirt line, coming through it gives you a bit of an illusion that you're not made the start, but by the time you go through the apex on the outside, it will pull you around down the back straightaway with a lot more speed than the rest of the guys. So if you're feeling confident, got the setup, there you go.
Outside gate for Robert Lambert.
That definitely feels
similar pick there. Liaga goes for the inside, so that leaves Maxim Drabic. Going for blue, and Freddie Jakobsen going in white. Second semi-final, Liaga, Drabic, Jakobsen, Lambert from the start. So both of the leading scorers going for the outside gates there in the semi-final.
Yep, so they all feel the same. That outside gate is going to give themselves the best position out of the start, mainly the opportunity to get into the first corner usually the start, you can say you officially won it by the time you get into turn 3 because you're up to full speed. And as long as nobody gets in your way, whatever you've done out of the start to build that speed up, to get up to full speed going into turn 3, the race has begun there. So if they feel that race gate 4, and I would equally say that that's a good place to be. You can see from the dirt line on the track there, it's a long way out. So the guy on the inside, they either got to shift to the outside or stay right down to the inside to keep the speed up.
Well, this has really built up over the evening. I think most of us came here thinking that Drabik had it all in the bag and would just comfortably ease his way to the victory. He still may do so, but it's certainly been a lot tougher than many expected. As I say, there could well be more drama to come as the riders get pushed off out of the pits for this first semi-final. Robert Schimmel, Patrick Hansen, Dominic Kubera and Bartosz Smektala. It's all about the fact that Smektala has got 50 points overall and Drabik has got 52 points overall, and Smektala has to make the final first and foremost to keep things going. If Smektala does not make the final, if he finishes third or fourth here, then Drabik is champion.
Smektala must make the start. There's just no other option. He must make it. 3 other riders will be thinking different. But
yeah, they've all got their agenda to try and win this meeting.
Yeah.
It's a prestige meeting to win.
Yep.
And they won't be remotely interested in the fact that Smektala,
as a competitor, right now.
I'm assuming that. I mean,
yeah.
he's got a teammate at Lejno, Dominic Kubera, alongside him, who may be slightly reflecting on what happened in Lejno, where Kubera effectively cost Smektala the win by wiping out Drabik and causing a rerun. But I don't think that really goes into these riders' mind at this stage.
I wouldn't think that this is the way you're built.
And the FIM do not like any suggestion of team riding. I don't expect it.
Right now, a true champion wants to challenge Bartosz Smektala if he wants to be the champion of this 3-round series, to be the under-21 world champion. Winning from gate 4 is the answer.
He's picked gate 4, Bartosz Smektala in yellow. Biggest race of his season so far. Schimmel off the inside, Hansen gate 2, Kubera gate 3, and Smektala goes off the outside. Away they go for the semi-final, and Smektala's made a good launch there off the outside. There's real contact there, and that's going to be a heavy crash there for Dominic Kubera on the first bend after contact with Robert Schimmel, and it is Dominic Kubera who was always going to go down there, and that's a decision for Christina Turnbull to make. Smektala has made a good one. He was away from danger. There wasn't as much carnage there as there might have been. Let's hope they can get Dominic out of the fence okay. And let's hope he's not hurt himself too badly in that crash. You could see it coming. It's a big track, but there was no room for him to stay on there. And here's what happened, Sam.
Yeah, let's see. All I've seen them all just racing for it. I'm also focused on Smektala. Smektala gets in there. And it just looks like that Kubera tried to turn left, and he ran in. Just watch Kubera in the white. He's now trying to get over the top. You can see that he's got over blue. He turns in, and in red, Schimmel
was going pretty hard.
Yeah, but Schimmel didn't even know he was there until Kubera came across him. So I would say that if anybody, that was Kubera that was trying to gain track position, but Schimmel was already there.
Well, they've called the ambulance to the scene.
Yeah, he went down hard on the left side. What I didn't like about what I just seen there, all right, we know what's going on in the race here. Unfortunately there that Kubera was trying to get to the inside line, didn't have it all his own way because there was a rider there, and he tried to hold on to it, put the bike down, and he went into the fence and got buried underneath the fence. But then we probably won't see it in these pictures, but when they were trying to recover Kubera from underneath the fence there, they grabbed his legs and pulled him out from underneath
Which
there.
if he is injured.
You know, I don't like that.
Yeah. And look how close this could have been for Bartosz Smektala.
Yeah, fair play, fair comment, yeah.
So it's a one-rider crash.
It could have been 3.
It could have been 3.
Yeah.
And you can see the ambulance there with Dominic Kubera, who did go into the fence very hard indeed, and is receiving treatment down there. So we wait to see. At the moment, and referees don't tend to go with decisions when there was a rider receiving treatment and possibly injured. So we don't know what the referee's verdict is yet on this semi-final, whether she'll put all 4 back in or whether she will exclude one of the riders involved. We'll have to wait and see. Certainly Robert Schimmel there looking at the bike. we are. There's a big round of applause from the crowd, but we can't. Oh, we can see now.
You know,
Dominic Kibera.
I wonder if the referee's got that option of putting all four back.
Yeah, absolutely,
sure.
Yeah, and I wonder if she might do that.
Yeah,
it's good to see him. It's good to see him up.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And looking none the worse for wear. I'm going to walk back in.
Yeah,
doesn't require the ambulance. So Dominic Kibera is okay, and that's great to see after a big crash. We knew that I think they might also have to repair an airbag as well at the moment, so there may be a delay on that one. But we knew when it came down to these races, there could be some contact, there could be some close action, because these are the top boys and they're going for it, and they're all keen to win on the night. Smectala had done his job there from the outside gate, done it exactly as he would have wanted, and he's going to be frustrated by a restart. Whether it's a restart with all four, we will have to wait and see. There's nothing at the moment as Dominic gives the crowd away, but he is holding that the left arm. Oh, he's
basically holding the steel shoe up.
Yeah. So I think
he's all right.
So I think he's all right. There's nothing that suggests any rider is excluded here. No lights, no black flags or coloured discs or anything. So we will have to see as he walks in and they go to work on the airbag. Dominic Kibera, he's got they've actually got some fans here because they're actually chanting his name as he walks back in. Very popular rider, of course, and one of the clutch of exciting young Poles, really making their way in the sport. You look at Drabek and Smectala as the two outstanding ones quite clearly, but Kibera is not too far behind, and has certainly got a lot to go for in the coming years. And the skill they ride, and this is the World Under-21 Championship, and the skill they ride with for riders under the age of 21 is quite incredible.
Yeah, you know, when you look at that start in the incident, Dominic Kibera's mission was to come out of gate 3, which is like the last pick, isn't it, in the semifinal?
Yeah.
For his choice, which he didn't have a choice. It was what he was left with. He had to make the best of that, and the best of that is to make as good a start as you can, and your options then become you back off the throttle and you do a big turn back underneath riders and let them all go and hope you can sneak up the inside of them coming off of turn 2, or you do the best job you can. If you can get a good enough gate to be able to go across the guys on the inside of you, those are your two choices. And in that incident, Patrick Hansen, coming from the gate number 2, didn't make a good enough start for Kibera to have that option to be able to cut back on the inside of him. Instead, he had to ride with Hansen, and as soon as he got over the top of Hansen, he turned left real hard, and Chamel was right there, and they just clashed. So the referee, I don't know if they're that educated enough sometimes to know that that's all the riders' options are, you know, and that could happen. But he definitely
there's a lot going on in a short space of time.
Yeah. And Kibera definitely turned in to Chamel, and he did cause that crash. But the reason why he did is A, B, and C.
Yeah.
And, you know, so let's hope the referee is nice enough to let them all fall.
Well, it looks like that's the case, because I think if there was a exclusion, we've seen all the replays
by now.
And there's no lights on, and all they're doing now, the only reason we've got a delay now is because of that.
Let's assume that that's the case.
Which is good. We want this decided on the track, and
a great decision there.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. But and good to see the respect between the riders as well, because Robert Chamel was there at the pits gate to make sure that Dominic Kibera was okay, and we saw Smectala there as well. So there's Daniel Kaczmarek, who hasn't had the series he would have wanted, just 15 points to finish 9th overall. Dan Bewley, by the way, will finish 8th, despite not racing here. So Dan in the top 8, just edged out at the moment by Andreas Leaga, who could add points in the second semi, but Dan Bewley on 21 points finishes 8th just from 2 rounds. So great job, and a particularly great job in Lejno from Dan Bewley. As the fence repairs continue, and I think they are approaching conclusion down there, hopefully, and we can go again. So Smectala, it will be a case of same again, won't it? It will be he was clearly across there, and he got the job done.
Yeah. In the past, we've seen riders take this opportunity. It's a long way from the pits to come down to the track, but if you can get down there and do a little bit of gardening pre the start of your race and weigh up some of your options. But with Smektela already being up there in the first attempt of the semifinal one, to be able to make a nice start as he did and get himself in the best position he possibly could to, avoiding the incident, obviously. But he did make enough of a start to be able to pretty much dominate the first corner. And sometimes the riders will take advantage of getting out on the racetrack with this delay.
Well, they've finished the fence. The fence has been done because the vehicle is moving in, and we've got Patrick Hansen's on the track at the moment, but he's back at the pits gate, which is off the fourth bend. But it won't be too long, I don't think, before the referee puts them on 2 minutes, because the track is all clear. The fence has been repaired.
Well, I'll just mention what I was saying about that opportunity. Dominic Cabrera being on the ground, the last one really. To get off the racetrack. 2 minutes gone. Get off the racetrack. He walked back knowing the fence was being repaired. He could have took a sneak look at the starting gate and said, even if there's not much on gate 3, but
Well, you could also be cynical and say, and clearly he did take a not going into the fence, but if you get a bit of treatment down there, then if the bike needs some treatment back in the pits, there's no way the referee can get the race started whilst you're having treatment yourself.
Yeah, sure.
So there is that. No, I'm not saying it was, but that it has been known.
Oh, I would do it.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So, here we go with the rerun. The riders back on track to do it all again for the first semi-final here in Pardubice, so the third and decisive round of the FIM World Under-21 Championship. What a cliffhanger it's turned into. Against expectations, Drabic and Smektala fighting tooth and nail every step of the way. And Bartosz Smektala is the first one to go in the semi in heat number 21 off the outside in yellow, needing to make the final to keep things going. Looking at Smektala there, pushing that dirt off the fence into a starting groove to help him, and then Cabrera right next to gate number 3, Hansen, right up by the cone there, and you can see right there firsthand what Smektala is going to be launching out of that gate 4 on. That little bit of padded dirt he pounced into the ground right there is going to be enough for him to hopefully repeat the first attempt of the semi-final number 1 to get himself into that first corner first. So here we go again. Robert Schimmel off the inside in red. Patrick Hansen blue off gate 2. Dominic Cabrera white off gate 3. And Bartosz Smektala goes in yellow off the outside. Very short hold from the referee. Away they go. Smektala that time did not make anywhere near as good a start. He has got plenty of speed round the outside, and the rider in yellow needs to get round the outside here. He's got round Patrick Hansen, and now he's after Cabrera. Cabrera, the only leader, is passed by the searing Bartosz Smektala around the outside, although Cabrera comes back at him as they start lap 2, and Smektala will keep it rolling around the outside once again. Cabrera in white on the inside, Smektala in yellow around the outside, and Smektala out in front. Yeah, I think these guys are respecting each other's positions right now. Cabrera's done a good job to pick himself off the ground there and get himself into the front for the first lap or so, but Smektala's done a good job on that outside line, but he's going to be under a little bit of pressure on Hansen that's reaching for that dirt line as well. We've seen Patrick Hansen make some good moves earlier in the meeting, and he's going to try and do so again here and spoil the party as far as Smektala and Cabrera are concerned. Smektala has the advantage, and Patrick Hansen in blue is trying to wind up the outside here to get at Cabrera. Got a good shot here, Patrick Hansen, off the second bend, wide round the outside, into bend 3. Patrick Hansen still just behind, but can he make it round turns 3 and 4? Smektala is still unbeaten. He's in the final, and the other finalist will be Dominic Cabrera, who holds off Patrick Hansen as Robert Schimmel also goes out, and Smektala wins the semi-final. He's in the final, he leads the standings, and the pressure is over to Maxim Drabic in the second semi-final, because if Drabic comes last there, then Smektala is champion. Whoa. Well, a lot happened in that semi-final 1, but the result stands. There's no doubt about it that Smektala knew what he had to do, whether he had any help from what you said, a league partner, Cabrera. The Cabrera made a great start as well coming out of that gate number 3, gets himself right where he wanted to be on that inside line, front wheel on the white pole, looks over his right-hand shoulder. He knows Smektala's there. Smektala then goes to the outside. Here's a view right now of Hansen trying to get into that first corner, but it's all about Cabrera that gets a nice start, and he's able to control the inside line definitely quite easily right there. And there's an outside for Smektala to get the speed up. After about a lap or so, Smektala does get enough speed to be able to get himself
in front of Cabrera, which Cabrera then holds onto the inside line. But then it wasn't all over there. Hansen was picking up some nice lines on the outside. He was actually able to tempt, hopefully, Cabrera offline, but he didn't do it. So Hansen had to stick to the outside line, but just ran out of laps. But he came close, and it was down to the finish, back straightaway, front straightaway, but he got into that second position. So Cabrera did well, picking himself up. Smektela, though, did the job of keeping his unbeaten record through the night in that semi-final one.
18 points on the night for Bartosz Smektala, 53 points overall. Maxim Drabik on 52 points ahead of the semi-final. He goes in blue. Andreas Leaga in red. Fredrik Jakobsen in white. Robert Lambert goes in yellow. And Drabik really needs to make the final. If Drabik comes third here, then he'll be out of the meeting. He'll be left on 53, same as Smektala, and we'll be relying on Smektala not scoring in the final to then set up a run-off for the title. And if Drabik comes last here and misses out, then Smektala is champion. Leaga in red, Drabik in blue, Jakobsen white, Lambert in yellow. And of course, if Drabik comes second here, he put himself 1 point in front of Smektala. But of course, there could be all sorts of permutations there in the final as to whether that will be the last race or whether they will go to a runoff if they end up level.
Well,
could happen.
These riders, Lambert had the first choice, didn't
pick
he?
four.
He picked 4, so he knows what he's got to do. All the way around the outside. Leaga then had second pick on the inside. So both those riders will be looking to get the best position in that first corner.
Maxim Drabik fighting to retain his title after a really tough night here this evening in blue. They go away. He's picked a good start there, Maxim Drabik in blue, but Leaga has got a better one. Lambert is trying to turn back, and Drabik's at the back of them. Lambert shooting through from fourth to first, and Drabik goes nowhere on the back straight, really bottling up there into the third bend. Drabik in blue, keep your eyes on him as he tries to go around the outside. At the moment, the way is completely blocked by Lambert and by Leaga, but Drabik has got the outside run going. He may have got third place. He's got to get second. He's going around the outside. He's going to get second. Drabik keeps on going.
Or does he? He's just getting the nose chopped off there. Lambert's holding on to that final position. What an action-packed first lap, no doubt about it. Continuing now.
It's Leaga in second over Drabik, and Drabik's got to get through here realistically. Drabik is trying to turn back now on Leaga, and he comes up the inside. Really heavily, lifted on the back straight, and the bike goes over spectacularly. The race is continuing with Robert Lambert in front of Maxim Drabik. The red lights are now on with Andreas Leaga down. That might be awarded. That might well be awarded because of the fact that the two out in front were well clear of Freddie Jakobsen. Wow, more drama here in Pardubice, and Leaga is walking away.
Yeah, good for him.
And Maxim Drabik has dodged a big one there in the second semi-final because he was all over the place and very rare in the top two.
Yeah, so glad that Jakobsen didn't plow into the back of Leaga, because that was an option that sometimes you can't avoid. They're going down the straightaway with Leaga lifting like he did. He just leaned back on the bike, and the bike just lifted, and as it lifted, it just threw him right over the thing. Right here is Maxime Drabik knows that he's got to get up on the inside. Leaga's going back for maximum dirt. Come down, and luckily Jakobsen was able to turn the bike. Exactly. He turned the bike just enough to avoid any more carnage in that wild. I've only ever seen that one that time. I think it was Emil Saifedinov when we were somewhere in Russia or something.
Was it Bogdanov's in talking with Emil?
Yeah, wow, it was one of those ones. And that doesn't.
Don't say that drawing a race, do you?
No. It just goes to show how much wheel spin these guys got. And when you're looking for traction and the wheel catches up, that's what happens. It just pulls you over.
Red light is on, obviously, for the exclusion of Andreas Leaga. That's extraordinary.
Yeah, he's lucky there. He's very lucky.
And Fredrik Jakobsen dodges it. And we await news on whether it's going to be rerun.
Wow. He's at both feet off the pegs. That's just a no-no, guys.
Yeah.
You don't take your right foot off the foot peg. When the bike lifts, you have no way of pushing it down, and that is a lesson to be learned by every rider that's out there. Do not take your feet off the pegs. I don't know why they do that, but there you go.
It looks like we're going to go again. Certainly from the influence of the start line, we've got the start line girls already out with the cards, but there's an announcement currently being made. The scoreboard is just showing the lineup with the 3 remaining riders. So I think we're going to go again. And well, Maxim Drabik, what a race he had there. His title was gone at points of that.
Wow, was he just throwing everything at retaining his title in that semi-final 2 when it was rudely interrupted I would say, by a rider that misfortune stopped the race. And it looks like the referee is going to see this race on the track once again.
Well, the 2-minute warning is on, and so we are going to go again. And one thing is for sure now, we're going to go to the last race, whatever, because even if Drabic misses out here and finishes third, then he'll score a point to level with Smektala. So Smektala will have to get something in the final. But I think really what everyone wants to see after so much drama, we want to see them both in the final, to be honest, don't we? And then see how it plays out.
Absolutely. Wow, who was in front?
At the time of the race stoppage,
yeah.
Lambert was in front.
There you
Lambert
go.
was in front.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
And I'd say he could still play a big part in this with getting in. I'll say getting in the way, but getting certainly in the middle of that battle.
Yeah, I can tell you, he's such a flamboyant racer. Let's say he just. Was that the right word? Probably not the right word, really, because he just does his business so quietly, doesn't he? And he goes out there, but he is come of age.
On track,
yeah, he comes. He knows his ability.
He looks like he belongs in a meeting like
exactly.
in a high-level meeting.
And come on, 2 years we've mentioned his track record here, huh?
Yeah.
Look what he's done.
Yeah. Superb.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's the man Maxim Drabic, who is still in the meeting. He's still in the World Under-21 Championship, and he would have hoped by now to have had it all wrapped up nice and neatly with the lead he had, with the way he rode in the first 2 rounds. He only dropped 1 point in the first 2, which says a lot for Smektala and the way he kept in the battle and just chipped away and got some results his way in the first half of tonight's meeting. And that's what's led us to this implausible conclusion that we still do not know which way it's going to go. But Drabic in blue, again, needs to make sure he makes the final realistically to keep it going. Freddie Jakobsen going in white and Robert Lambert going in yellow. What Drabic would dearly love here is to make a fast start in blue and take the win, take more than he would have had. Remember, a stoppage went in his favour very much in Lejno. He took advantage and won the rerun in the grand final, and that's what's helped him in the series with more points. Second semi-final, green light on, away they go again, and Drabic in blue has made a good start. He takes Fredrik Jakobsen wide, and that's blocked the run of Lambert. Jakobsen's going wider though, and he's gone round him, and in fact they've got on the side there of Drabic, who again finds himself in third place, and it's Fredrik Jakobsen out in front. He was out of play when the race was stopped, and Drabic has gone amazingly wide there off bend 4, but still in third place. Lambert going inside Jakobsen now to take the lead, and Drabic has to come from the back. Jakobsen wide off bend 2. Drabic coming through on the inside. Can he make it? Oh, it's very tight in the third bend, and Maxim Drabic, I think, has gone through. Lambert is mid-track. Drabic pegs the inside and goes from third to first.
Whoa, he's throwing everything at it. Lambert's got a chance here to come back the inside now. Drabic's throwing everything at it. He's on the high line now, getting loads of speed. Lambert's just about there.
This is sensational stuff. Robert Lambert leading Maxim Drabic, who's again wide around turns 3 and 4. I think crucially he's seen off Fredrik Jakobsen, but I think Robert Lambert has got the better of Maxim Drabic here in the semi-final, unless Drabic can find something big on the last lap. The meeting has come to a spectacular conclusion, and there's one massive race to come to sort out the meeting itself and the Under-21 title. Robert Lambert wins the semi, Maxim Drabic will be in the final, and Fredrik Jakobsen misses out. More drama in the rerun, and Lambert takes it after a sterling battle with Drabic and Jakobsen. Great stuff in the second semi-final, and Lambert will be in the final along with the 2 big title contestants.
Well, you can see the desire right there from 2 talented riders. All 3 of them are obviously very talented. Jakobsen really throwing it in there. I thought he sealed the deal because he was in the right position going into turn 3. Fredrik Jakobsen coming out of this race here in the white helmet color. He just got given that position the way the draw went. Last pick, didn't have a pick. Goes to the outside, gets his speed up down the back straightaway. As Drabic lifts, he's now in front going into turn 3. I mentioned before, when you get to turn 3 in full speed in front, you can pretty much dominate it. But I can tell you right now, Drabic really threw it in there. Overtime work was going on in that one there from the number 1 on his back, Maxim Drabic. By the time he got into turn 3, he was lying in 3rd position. He threw that bike into the dirt so heavily, it unsettled him, but then he had to recompose himself, just as we see right there on the outside that Jakobsen makes a mistake. Then Drabic comes in to take the lead over Lambert. Lambert's minding his own business, doing perfect lines, continued to do perfect lines, and that was enough for him to sneak back in front and finish the race off. But it was all about Maxim Drabic making sure he made that final is exactly what he needed to do. He's got an opportunity now to continue to hold on to his overall world championship and back it up for the second time here at Pardubice. 391 meters to go, 4 laps of that 390 meters to go. But first they got to go to the business side of picking their gate positions.
Yep, and the situation in the standings is that Drabic has 54 and Smektala has 53. So there's very little in it. If Smektala beats Drabic in the final, then he gets at minimum a run-off for the title. And of course, if he beats him by 2 places, then he'll win anyway. And if Drabic beats Smektala, he's champion. You've got Lambert and you've got Kubera also in the race, going for the win on the night. And well, we've seen some good speedway across Europe throughout the year, you and I, but it certainly boiled down to a big finale here on the 21 Championships, the very last race.
I've never really thought that Pardubice was a very fair racetrack, but I can tell you this evening we've had superb racing. There's been some tremendous lines for the riders to go out there and perform their skills on. Every time I've been here, we've touched on it earlier on. I've been here for the Golden Helmet race, which is the track gets really abused in some 6-rider races, and there's never these kind of options of racing lines as I've seen here this evening. And now the riders have to pick the best position to get himself in that first corner.
Will Bartosz go back for yellow again, do we think? Because the people who've gone on yellow, him and Lambert, in those semi-finals, they've had to work for it. They haven't done it from the gate. He did it from the gate when the first one was stopped. Apart from that, he and Robert have both had to work for it. So is he going to go that way again? He's got to worry about Drabic, and he's right, different option.
Yeah.
Smektala goes red. He knows, as Lambert then takes yellow, which makes sense. Drabic takes blue, and that leaves Kubera with white. Obviously, Smektala and Drabic want to win the meeting, quite clearly, but they've got to worry about each other. And Smektala knows if Lambert wins the final, Smektala's still in the frame for the title. Smektala has to beat Drabic. That's the key.
Smektala has to beat Drabic.
And Drabic has to beat Smektala.
Yes.
The only thing is, as I say, if there's one place in it in Smektala's favour, they'll be level and we'll go to a runoff.
Okay.
So it might not be all over just yet.
And we know that what Robert Lambert wants to do, doesn't he? He
Absolutely.
wants to go out there and win the race.
Yeah.
So, wow. And we haven't even mentioned Dominic Kubera yet.
Back off a big crash, and it's been in the wars himself in Poland as well lately, so he's bounced back and takes the final.
Exciting final coming up.
Oh, tell me, how it's going to happen. Well, is that man going to be champion in a couple of minutes' time? Bartosz Smektala.
The pit crew's now getting the bikes ready to get onto the starting blocks.
Pressure on them as well, isn't there? To
be able to push down for the last time on this Pardubice racetrack. It's got some nice big racing lines, a little bit of dirt on it.
Neil Batrin with Robert Lambert.
Yeah.
They want to win this round. Don't forget that. We saw Robert win it in the Euros at Gusto earlier in the season. And we saw him, he made the final in Daugavpils, and that was some race, by the way, involving Drabic and Smektala. And that went right down to the wire before Drabic won it.
I'd say Robert Lambert kind of, during this series, just lost a little bit of contact. I think it was in...
Lejno was... And he didn't ride that badly, but it was the fact that Drabic rode so well. And Robert didn't make the final because he got beaten up by Kubera.
Yeah.
That was what happened. He still scored 13 points there, which... This is not an ordinary series. As I say, we're dealing in scores at the top of 54 and 53, plus whatever they get in the final, that are unheard of in this series.
Yeah.
The consistency is remarkable. Lambert has scored 46 points, plus what he gets in the final. Well, in previous years, Frick won it on 46 in 2016. In 2015, Bartosz Smalzik won it on 39.
There you go.
So, and Lambert's already scored 46.
Great stat there, Dave. Great stat.
Do my best.
Yes, that's just tremendous there. So that just shows how highly contested these 4 riders are that are coming into this this final race of this series.
Well, we're awaiting the 2-minute time allowance as Bartosz Smektala prepares for the final alongside Dominic Kubera. They're just doing a bit of work on the fence, are they, over on the far side?
Isn't it good? Just
going on the second bend. There's an almighty amount of smoke behind the
is
the
that
fence.
The firework that they've been doing?
And I wonder quite what's happening there, because you can't see the pictures, but send a couple of marshals across to the second bend, and behind that it looks like there's some kind of generator near the floodlights, and there was a great deal of white smoke which has now been dissipated. So hopefully that's all been sorted out, whatever it is. But the marshals down there appear to have got that under control, and the 2-minute warning is now on for the final. Smektala, Drabic, Kubera and Lambert is your lineup. Drabic leads Smektala by 1 point in the overall standings.
And in the overall standings, those 4 riders are all on the top 4 in the table.
These are our top 4. Lambert will be confirmed as 3rd and Kubera 4th.
Yeah.
And there is still white smoke over on the second bend. There's a couple of fire extinguishers down there and marshals. And I just hope that's not going to drift too much across the circuit during this final. Very unusual. And the red lights are on.
Right.
The red lights are on, and I assume that's because of the smoke.
Yeah.
There is smoke going across the second bend, and I think they want the fire marshals down there just in case something is causing a major issue. You haven't seen that yet on your screen, I don't think, but we're watching that from high in the commentary box here over the start-finish line, and there's a great deal of white smoke currently going across the second bend. So the red lights are currently flashing, and there won't be any action just yet. The riders, I don't think, realise just yet because they're all.
Nor the starting marshal. The starting marshal is the one that should be directing.
Yeah, should see the red lights.
Now.
There's red flags. There's red flags. Red lights.
Yeah.
Red lights.
So he should be telling everybody to go back.
I think whatever it was.
Or maybe they're just waiting to make sure that they can control it.
They need the smoke to clear, because whatever it was is not smoking anymore, but it's just the fact that it's crossing the track.
Yeah, the marshal's looking that way, so yeah, they're aware of what's going on.
The reds are still on here, but I don't think it will be too long before it's sorted out. And this is just a little extra delay for the riders to think about. Start marshals telling the riders just to be patient and just hang on, and the pressure ramping up here in Pardubice on those 2 riders, the 2 Polish contestants, competitors for the Under-21 World Championship. Bartosz Smektala off the inside gate and Maxim Drabic going in blue. Dominik Kubera in white, Robert Lambert in yellow, and the red lights are now off and the red flags can be withdrawn, because as I say, that smoke has now just about cleared the second bend, and the referee was quite right to delay things there in that situation. You didn't see the pictures, but it didn't look great. So here we go. The grand final on the night and potentially for the series, with Bartosz Smektala in red, Maxim Drabic in blue, Dominik Kubera in white and Robert Lambert in yellow. Smektala and Drabic head-to-head for the World Under-21 Championship. And here we go with Smektala making the start over Drabic and getting a notice to both men. And Smektala has the lead, but Drabic is currently second. Although look at Lambert flying around the outside in yellow. And Lambert's going all the way here from 3rd. Can he get round Smektala to take the lead and take the meeting itself? Lambert has got around him, has he? Smektala comes back and Drabic's onto the back here. Now, Bartosz Smektala leads from Robert Lambert and Maxim Drabic here behind Dominik Kubera, and if it stays this way, Smektala's going to be champion.
Smektala did everything he needed to do right there. He had one person that was giving him the biggest challenge, and that was Great Britain, Robert Lambert, but he didn't finish the deal, but it's all about Smektala now.
Smektala out in front, and Maxim Drabic has to finish second here. If Smektala wins it, Drabic has to come second to tee up a run-off. I don't see him doing that as things stand unless something goes drastically wrong, and Bartosz Smektala is looking to go through the card for the 21-point maximum and become champion here on the last lap in Pardubice. After an astounding night of drama, Bartosz Smektala has half a lap to go. Robert Lambert in second place, Dominik Kubera in 3rd, and Bartosz Smektala comes off turns 3 and 4, and he is World Under-21 champion. An extraordinary meeting here in the Czech Republic as Bartosz Smektala dethrones Maxim Drabic, who led by 6 points coming in, but Smektala has turned it round completely by scoring 21 on the night, gets his celebrations and congratulations, and Smektala has been sensational here in Pardubice.
Wow. I can't say no more. You said it all. That was tremendous there. The pressure was on the kid. There's no doubt about it. He had to work extremely hard. Robert Lambert threw everything at him. Robert Lambert could have went a little bit deeper going into turn 3, but the risk would have been there of not finishing off in that second place. But it's all about Smektala now. The guy that chose, well, he had first choice, didn't he? Unbeaten through the night, chose gate 1, and it paid off.
Certainly did. He got the drop on Drabic. He edged Drabic out into the first bend, and that was crucial because Drabic may have been second at that point, but he managed to edge Drabic out and that put Drabic into a race with the likes of Lambert and Kubera, which he couldn't win. And there is the outcome. Bartosz Smektala, 2018 under-21 world champion. What a battle it's been between them, and what a comeback by Smektala here tonight.
Yeah, and there's no question about it. The best rider of the night, and he's clinched the series by being that best rider of the night. Maxim Drabic will be haunted by the fact that he chose the right gate, because anytime you're up against your closest rival at the start line, it only takes a little bit of a nudge to spoil your challenge. Maybe a gate position or two away might have gave him a little bit better options to sneak somewhere and be able to have the chance to be able to get in front of your biggest competitor in a final. When the result comes after 4 laps, you got to be looking back at that. Don't let it haunt you. Put it down as experience, a young enough, big enough career. But right now, Bartosz Smektala will be celebrating all the way through the night on this one.
And rightly so. He was unlucky in Leszno in the final. There were points that went Drabic's way, and Smektala didn't let that affect him too much. And he is, well, he's been brilliant.
Yeah. He just got a shoulder button ahead there.
I think he can cope with it. I think he can cope with it.
Here. Just right now, out of the start, when you got two of the highest contentions going right now into that first corner, it was all about Smektala just moving Drabic offline. Drabic had to cut back to the inside.
And Lambert getting in the mix.
And he cut back too much, so he didn't have the speed. He would have been better off being where Lambert was, I would say, off of gate 4. It would have given him a much, much better position, and he would have been 1 point behind him and still had a second go at it by having a run-up. So, you know, you have to think of these things, and sometimes you think that you're superior, you're riding well enough. Well, come on, Bartosz Smektala was not beat throughout the whole night, and we've seen what Drabic's night's been like. It's not been consistent enough. He's not been able to make it off the worst gates, so he went out there and threw everything he had at it and kind of lost it. But well done to Robert Lambert, almost to clinching this final. He almost got around Smektala going into turn 3, but Smektala pulled it off, continued his winning streak throughout the night, well deserved, and he took away a world championship.
56 points, Bartosz Smektala, and that's what it means to the team as well. Unbridled joy in the pits and celebrations. He is a world champion. And look at that, as the race is finishing, they're already on the way.
Job done.
So Smektala finishes on 56 points, Drabic finishes on 54, Lambert finishes third on 48. And the real mouth-watering prospect is they can do it all again next year, because they're still young enough to do so.
Yeah, there we go.
That's how good they are. Smektala and Drabic contested this series last year. Lambert had injury troubles in the campaign that really wrecked his, but Lambert's finished on the podium now for the second time in 3 years, because he was behind Frick and Pieszek in 2016. So these are outstanding talents producing high-quality speedway, and there's a lot more to look forward to.
Grupa kibiców, moja rodzina oraz kibice. Także po prostu dla nich chciałem dzisiaj zrobić. Niekoniecznie chodziło tutaj o mistrza świata, chociaż to jest moim marzeniem i zawsze.
Basically,
he's happy.
He's happy.
Dla tych ludzi, nie tylko zresztą dla tych, którzy tutaj
Explaining.
tylko dla wszystkich, dla moich sponsorów, dla klubu.
Yeah, it's been a perfect show from him. He's made almost every racing move right, and when he's been asked a question, put under any kind of pressure, he's had the answer, and he's made the right moves on track, on a track where it's been very hard to read where the right place to be is.
Yeah, it's the statements in the fact that he's been unbeaten through the whole evening.
Yeah,
and that just goes to show
it takes a lot of doing. Drabic did it in the previous round via that rerun. We saw Drabic get 21 in Poznan last year, but they don't come around that often. It just shows the excellence of the riders involved. There is a huge posse of photographers on the centre green, and it's a good place to become champion. There's a lot of the sports media are here for the weekend. A lot of the big wigs of the sport also. There won't be a great deal of time to celebrate, because, as I mentioned, he's got the small matter of the actual grand final tomorrow in Leszno, the rearrangement. So there won't be massive celebrations, it should be said, but I'm sure they'll give themselves the time. And we're awaiting the rostrum, which I imagine the first rostrum will be the result on the night, which is Dominic Kubera third, Robert Lambert second, and Bartosz Smektala first, and then we'll see the the presentation of the top three overall. But what a series it's been, and what a way it's come to a conclusion with the fantastic final in Daugavpils. Great racing throughout in Leszno, and then this meeting tonight had a bit of everything, and certainly in the second half of it was racing from the very top level. And there's more and more Spectator fans are appearing in the livery as well.
Yes.
So, and,
well
why not enjoy the moment? I think we're about to see the podium. There's the results on the night, and you can't do any better than 21 points. Bartosz Smektala, Robert Lambert 18 has been superb. Travic picked up 13 but fourth in the final. Kubera and Lyaga both scored 12. Schimmel rode well as well. Best he's gone so far this season on 11. So he looked pretty good there. Did Robert Schimmel tonight, which was good to see.
So coming into this meeting, Maxime Drabic only dropped
1 point.
1 point.
Yeah, to Lambert.
Wow, that's a hard one to.
Hard to take.
Yeah, it is.
I think, as I said, I think everyone would have thought he would come here and control it.
Yeah.
Even if Smektala had a good meeting, you would expect to control a 6 point lead.
We did talk about the draw, didn't we?
Yep. I think I played a part.
Yeah. Oh, I would say yes, it did.
So there's Dominic Kubera on the rostrum. Fourth overall, but third on the night, and scoring a highly respectable 37 points in the series. Very consistent this year. 12 in Daugavpils, 13 in Leszno, and 12 again tonight. So a good series. Great Britain's Robert Lambert. What a season he's had. There is more to come. He's been promoted with Lublin in Poland. Back-to-back promotions for them. He's also got the small master of the Premiership playoffs in the UK. He's been excellent in the Speedway Euro Championship when he finished third, and it's second on the night here, and it's third overall in the series. Great year's work.
Absolutely.
British champion as well.
Absolutely.
British under-21 champion.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I'd say the only glitch has been really Cardiff, wasn't it?
Yeah, and there were extenuating circumstances there.
And he had the biggest crowd ever watching him there, but you know, he's come over that. And I know he would have loved to have done a lot better in this series. You got to sometimes take the bruising to be able to become a better overall person and racer.
Yeah, and these three, and add Kubera into that list of talents, because Kubera's only 19 by the way as well, so he'll be back next year. They all know that they are fighting now for the Under-21 World Championship. Well, who knows? Maybe in 3 or 4 years' time, it could be the World Championship.
Sure, absolutely.
Because these are all going to be riders that are going to have a part to play. So
getting the experience of being in these kind of
big races.
Pressure races, you grow and they become, you know, what you thrive on, because you know these guys have to do a lot of traveling to compete in their racing and tell their stories, and who knows, they might be in a position where we're at right now one day talking about the same thing that we're talking about now, but
they're a lot older.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, you know, these guys every time they're in a critical position and the pressure's on and you can pull it off.
Polish national anthem for Bartosz Smektala, and we'll hear that again in 2 or 3 minutes' time as well, because we will have the presentation for the overall series. But final photo calls to be had involving the three on the night: Smektala, Robert Lambert, and Dominic Kubera as well. They are your first three here in Pardubice for the third round. And certainly the series as a whole was, I think it's found its niche in the calendar, running on 3 rounds. There was a time when they tried to run it on 7 rounds about 6 years ago, and that was rather overboard. But 3 appears to have just given a bit of chance for the most consistent rider to win it, and it's brought up to a good conclusion. So that's worked out really well, and Pardubice has been an excellent staging post for the final round. So the three have cleared the podium, but Robert's back on it again, and this time it's going to be the third place for his overall position of 48 points, well clear in the end of Kubera, who scored 37, and I think he's happy enough with that overall. 48 is a very, very good total indeed. Then you can score a total of 3 lots of 21.
Is that his second FIM medal?
Well, FIM Europe in the Euros.
Did he do?
Well, third place in this 2 years ago.
Yep.
Yep. So he's gaining a collection.
Yep.
I'm sure he'll want some gold. So that's what that's what they're all driven for. But he's there. He's very much in there. It's great to see a young Brit in the mix, because we've been so many years where the Poles have dominated and the British riders have struggled to make an impact. But Robert Lambert certainly bucks that trend, and hopefully Dan Bewley will too in future. But Maxim, with the thought of what might have been there, but he's taken it well. And to be fair, last year Smektala was very fulsome in his praise for Dravik, who won it, and this time it's roles reversed the other way around. And fair play, there is good respect between them. They do get on, and they come close on track. They have their moments quite clearly, but it's a good rivalry, and this time it's Bartosz Smektala on top, and on what we've seen tonight, perfectly deservedly so. So the Polish flag will fly. Robert Lambert is there as well, and I think we're just awaiting the trophy, and they certainly won't lose the national anthem because they just played it once, so they'll be playing that again shortly. But should be some final trophy presentations.
Armando Castagna.
Yeah, well, he had a good career as a rider. Looks a bit different now, Armando, doesn't he, to the racing days? But now very much one of the Speedway powers, and gives the awards to the top 3. Very good rider, Armando Castagna, in his day.
Yeah, not long ago we were racing together, I think it was.
Not long ago, Sam, really?
That's the way I look at it. Seems like it was yesterday.
Well, that's how it should be. Yeah, that's how it should be. If they're good memories, then and there he gets the world champion race jacket. And that's something, the gold medal and the race jacket, that's there. That's in the record books, and that's his. That's a world championship for Bartosz Smektala. And here we go with the national anthem again. Bartek Smektala, world under-21 champion, and that's something that they will enjoy for some time to come. And here is the presentation, and there's a man who works very hard indeed on these events, who's making the presentation. And One Sport, of course, have run this series for the last couple of years. Here with the fireworks, had some off the second bend earlier tonight. But yeah, One Sport trying to take things forward, and very much doing a great job with the under-21s. And these are some of the photos that you're going to be seeing over the next few days with Bartosz Smektala, and now joined on the top step. Maxim will get to stand on the top step very briefly, and 1 foot on, but this time it's silver for him. And as the fireworks light up the night sky here in Pardubice, many of the fans and many of the photographers still taking their shots of the riders. Smektala, well, as I say, have a big meeting to look forward to tomorrow in Poland, but time also to enjoy the moment and enjoy the 21-point maximum he's secured here to turn round a 6-point deficit going into the meeting and make it a 2-point series victory. Smektala 56, Dravik 54, Lambert 48. The top 3 overall in the FIM World Under-21 Championship. As the fireworks continue to go off here. The cold night air now. There's how it finished. Smektala 56, Drabic 54, Lambert 48, Kubera 37. The final totals of a thoroughly entertaining and enjoyable Under-21 World Championship Series. As I say, Sam, they're going to go again. That's the great thing. There's you see talent like this when they're at the ages they are, and you know how much better they could become.
Well, example, I started racing when I was 21. So,
yeah.
So they got a
They've already got titles on the.
Yeah, that's just enormous accomplishment.
Well, Smektala will enjoy the evening. Quite rightly so.
I think it's sneakily coming in. Yeah, he's kind of going, yeah, I got it. I got it.
So, well done to him and well done to the riders for putting on such a great show here this evening. And good to see it looks like everyone's okay. You've got to feel for Trev Chuganov after the crash he had, and also obviously Kubera had a big one as well in the semi. But no one could stop Smektala in the end. It really was.